Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. How are you? I decided to go live today, and we're going to talk about a level of resilience and having a level of resilience post-separation and finding our way back to ourselves with self-love and a level of self-sufficiency to begin to love ourselves completely. And part of this is that we tend to think that we can't get anybody, find anybody, or start over new. And I want you guys to understand how important it is to be able to love each other, love ourselves, and then on top of that, find our way back to ourselves, and then also find our way back to our partner if we actually decide to work with them and live with them after infidelity or things like that. So I wanted to have this conversation about all of it because it's very important, imperative for people to understand that relationships go through trauma. Relationships go through stress, and relationships go through something. But part of it is understanding each other, understanding ourselves, and how a person can affect us. And with that being said, a level of relationship and resilience means that if I love you, then we're going to work it out. If we're not capable of getting past what happened, then we need to be able to move forward. And if we have children, then we need to be able to work together to raise the kids together. We're separate, but not be together. So when I tell you guys it's important for the Power to Do More at Talk Radio Diva, is we have to have these conversations that are very uncomfortable to have. But the thing is, we need to talk about toxic relationships. We need to talk about toxic marriages. And then we also need to talk about the level of March Madness. And when I developed the March Madness program and things like that and seminars for that, I want you guys to understand how important and imperative it is to understand each other from that viewpoint and then from a point of view of, hey, what do I need to do if I've moved past the point of the relationship's over, but I'm ready to be back to myself and become resilient, and resilience inclines. And, not scarcity mindset declines, but abundance mindset declines. And then you have a level and layer of understanding how important and imperative it is to love yourself through trauma and things that change it, or crimes that change it. So with that being said, I'm going to give you some informational things before we get started, and then we're going to get into the material and everything else that I want to bring to you today. Of course, I had to have my coffee first. Coffee is my friend. So the first things first, the call-in live number for our radio station is 515-602-9765. Cash App love offerings are accepted. And that is IMCC Coaching, $, Don Diva Coaching, and then $, Team World Online, or $, Talk Radio Diva, with the Talk Radio Diva, myself, CC, and that's the Power to Do More. Okay? Now, the call-in live number is the main number that you do for our talk radio station. But you can go to talkradiodiva.com, and you can do love offerings there, or you can also text us and things like that throughout the show, and that's 866-727-9323, or you can text our forward line number, 404-418-5104, and then if you need to book your appointments online at DonDivaCoaching.com, IMCC.com, or IMCCCoaching.com, or TeamWorld.online for service I love to talk about. Again, the calling live number is 515-602-9765. Log on to talkradiodiva.com, and if you want to do anything for a love offering and donations and things like that for the endeavors that we have for charitable contributions, you can do it at talkradiodiva.com, the Power to Do More. So, like I told you guys, I wanted to make sure that we're providing you a level and layer of content and a level of content creation that is helping you guys understand things and build yourself back better than ever. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy when you've been through something. It does change you. Life does change you, and it takes you there. So with that being said, let's make sure that everything is going good. I want to make sure that the audio-visual sound is good. And then on top of that we're going to do this presentation and make sure that we're mindful of the time period. So we're going to be on here about 2 hours and whatnot. I'm going to try to make it short, sweet, and make it underneath 2 hours, but hopefully we don't go that far. But if we do, then that's cool. We have a 2-hour session for us to be able to do that. So with that being said, let's talk about March Madness, because that's the prequel and sequel to our actual show that we're going to be doing next month, which is April Showers Bring May Flowers. And part of that is being able to shower ourselves with a level of, we've had the rain that comes in, I'm allowed to cry. I'm allowed to feel some type of way. I'm allowed to grieve. I'm allowed to go through what I had to go through. Y'all have watched me as a life coach, wellness coach, health coach, divorce coach, go through levels and layers of trauma and things happen to me. And then you watch me do a brand new rollout while I'm dealing with things that are still being inflicted on me at the real time. But I wanted you guys to understand that the March Madness Breakthrough is the sequel to what we did last month, which was the level and layer of abundance of love heart. okay? Because when we think about our breakthrough series and things like that we're going to be doing every year, this is a prequel to those every year seminars that I'll be doing every month, every week, and things like that for you guys to have a talk radio station to be able to have a type of content. It's kind of like being the Black Fraser. Eventually I'll have my MD license and things like that to diagnose the tree. I'm pretty good. So I feel like, yeah, I'm getting there. So when I tell you that there's dreams and goals and endeavors, I'm not going to let anybody stop me. I'm not going to let a level of classless embarrassment, humiliation, torment, degradation, and things that happen to me online stop me. So this is to encourage anybody who's been through that, anybody who's been through a level of humiliation, toxic online, and then offline, and then levels of layer of torment for both gaslight, technology abuse, emotional abuse, and things like that, and then levels of IT abuse and technology abuse and things that have been done to me. It's not fair to me. It's not been right. It's not been okay. And when I tell you how far it's gone, it's a level of I'm going to have to call IT Solutions or somebody to fix all these different issues that this narc has done. And when I tell you how far it's been degrading, it's been terrible. But when I tell you that there are people who have been angels, I had a white guy tell me, like, I got people in high places. I'll help you. I need you. Because I want you to be successful. And, when I tell you it's not linear and it's not black and white, that's why I have a journal called Things Are Not Black and White all the time, because it struck a chord with me that a white man stood up and said, hey, you can do this to catch this person. If they're threatening you this way, I have friends in high places. I can help you. That made me feel better. And then when he was like, I didn't finish high school, but I'm good at IT. And I was like, so what does you not finishing high school have to do with you being smart? What does it have to do with you being helpful and helping me to feel better and let me know that I don't have to be caught like a victim and be done like that? I don't have to be victimized by someone. You made me feel better. It wasn't linear. It wasn't black and white. It actually allowed me to feel a layer of confidence that, okay, you've already set me up on some BS I didn't do, and guess what? There are people in my place that can be catchy. Oh, and it made me feel better. So I want you guys to understand this from a life coach and a professional person, that I have gone through some serious things. I've gone through things that have literally changed me as a person, changed my personality, changed me how I operate. And when I tell you that sometimes health trauma can actually turn you into a beast, and turn you into beast mode, and you're just like Iron Woman, it can make you do that because you're in fight or flight. You're in a level and layer of life changed for me. My whole outlook on life, my whole outlook on marriage, my whole outlook on relationships changed. Y'all know I love love, but I'm not addicted to love in all the wrong places, okay? And when I'm talking about addicted to love in all the wrong places, I'm talking about a lower layer of being able to understand things from a point of view and a perspective of not ending up upset, angry, and feeling depleted emotionally to the point that I no longer function like a human being. And I wanted to touch light on the subject matter that we've been talking about. I've seen in the news a lot about people and their infidelity, things coming out, and people are finding out about different people. But the way that people are so callous about people's relationships and having an opinion for it, I'm like, dude, sir, ma'am, have you ever done something wrong in life? Have you ever failed in marriage? Have you ever failed in relationships? Then, sit down. And I want you guys to understand why I'm saying that. We've all been in relationships that are comparable to marriage. And some of us have been in more than one of those that's comparable to common law marriage. And some of us have been in more than one relationship that was long-term and consistent and equivalent of common law marriage. So when I tell you guys about these type of things, we're doing these series to help you. For one, with the March Madness, is we're all about breakthroughs through March. We're all about levels of stopping the madness, and then on top of that, going to a series of manifesting goals, and then taking on your healing and your journey. And your journey should be able to help you have a level of self-awareness and self-efficacy. Now, while wearing my military fatigue outfit and things like that, not that I'm a junkie on military, but I am a person who has military personnel, family, and things like that. And, when I tell you that I'm a big supporter of military cops, and then on top of that, military police, and then on top of that, military levels of JAG, and those that have those different MOSs and things like that, or levels and layers of lawyers, doctors, and things like that, foremen, and all that I've known all through my life and worked at the Naval Hospital as support personnel. Let me tell you something. When you date a military, you know that it's hard. You know that this infidelity can happen. You know that there's levels and layers of things that happen when you're in deployment. You know when people are DDY. You know when people are going to things, when you have missions and things like that happen. They deal with all that. So my thing was to support a level and layer of women and men out there who are in combat, even with their own spouse. So now you know why I'm wearing it. Because people were making fun of this lady, and she's famous. I'm not going to put her name out there on Front Street because I'm thinking funny and all like name dropping. Because somebody accused me of that, but I'm related to a lot of famous people, so it's like no big deal out here. They're like regular people to me. I'm like, get up, get your own shit. Excuse me. Don't like to say that IT word, but the sugar honey IT. Let's say it that way. So when we talk about a level later of having the confidence to be able to say, hey, who do you think you are? Just because you're famous don't mean nothing, okay? So that's neither here nor there. So the crux of this is that even famous people go through things, okay? So they're normal like everybody else, except for they're on a higher calling, a higher echelon, and a higher platform that requires a level of handling things different. So when I tell you we all have to handle things different, we all have to handle things even accordingly when our life falls apart in front of everybody on a global platform. I'll tell you, nobody in their right mind wants to go through anything on public platforms. I didn't. Let me tell you, it's the most embarrassing, humiliating crap to go through. It sucks. So when I tell you that it's important and imperative to really be mindful of what you do to someone and how you take them through things, because just like I said, when God said, you put your hands on me, you put your mouth on me, guess what? God will handle you accordingly. So the thing is, there's a thing called karma. It will come back on you no matter what you do to someone. So I want you guys to understand while we're doing this show that there's a level of rekindling the spark that, reduce the madness in your life. And part of this seminar is to help you guys reduce the madness in your life. I've been here. Y'all have seen me angry and upset and righteously angry and upset over pathological abuses and pathological levels of narcissistic foolery that happens to me on and offline. The worst thing that can ever happen to someone is being humiliated over and over again, or re-traumatized over and over again, or re-inflicted a psychological wound over and over again. And then when everybody else has your name in their mouth and it's up for fodder, you got Pick-Me Patrick and Pick-Me Isha here who like to play games and play word salads while they're at it, and then showing you that they participated in some of your downfalls. So when you're thinking about those levels of layer and hurt, trauma, betrayal, we're talking about a level of layer of something that can really take you down and up through it, right? So that's why we're all about breakthroughs, because part of this and the power to do more is to bring up these things and talk about mental health and the resiliency that you have to have and the resiliency factor that you have to have when you're going through trauma, PTSD, and levels and layers of emotional harm and degradation, things that happen to us. Because part of it is being able to go and hone in on what's bothering us, what's causing us, what's teased us, what's teased us, what's this that's happening in your life that's making you break down or show that you don't want to dress up, you don't want to look like your normal self. So like I told you guys, Derek Jackson's situation really helped me to understand it and then to look at it from another person's situation, because I've been through that. I know what it feels like to be the wife, the girlfriend, the fiance, and go through something so degrading and so embarrassing and humiliating on and offline, and nobody lets up. Everybody thinks it's funny. Everybody thinks it's funny to pick at you because you got your bonnet on in front of people. Plus, if I'm raising kids, plus I'm an entrepreneur, plus I'm a brander, and then on top of that, I got all this going on, do you think I want to look like this every day? Do you think I want to get up, brush my teeth? Do you think I want to wipe my teeth? Do you think I want to sit up here and do my hair? Do you think I want to sit up there and look like $1 million while I'm being treated like crap? Do you really think that somebody really wants to look like that? Do you really think somebody wants to look like that when they're going through it, but they're stuck on and offline? I just want to ask you guys these questions because sometimes we need to have humility and a little bit of humbleness to understand that people go through things. Nobody wants to look like that. Nobody wants to look depressed. Nobody wants to have their bonnet on TV unless you're like the Bonnet Chronicles, and we've seen Tammy Roman with hers on, so what's the difference? Sometimes I think we live in these false narratives of what we're supposed to be, and nobody ever sees somebody in their natural garb, their natural state. I did it because I actually wanted people to see what I look like without makeup. What about the same? And the thing is, if I look about the same with makeup, then I look fine without it. The thing is, if I don't feel like getting dressed up and I want to have my bonnet on online, what's it tell you? Pick-Me Patrick, Pick-Me Isha. You know what's good on your birthday. So when we're talking about levels like that, we have to understand resiliency is to not let people get to you. Because there's a lot of people in this world who are broken individuals and who enjoy getting off on people and making fun of them. So again, the text line that you can call into and things like that, or the 800 number that you can call into is 866-767-9323. You can text the phone and things like that. You may text our actual local number, which is a 404 number, Atlanta, Georgia. That is 404-418-5114. And you can text us throughout the show and things like that. Or you can call in live 515-602-9765. And again, the 800 number is 866-767-9323, and that's for our international callers. Let's get into the show. I went into a level of strategy the other day, right? And we're talking about levels and layers of having strategy for moving forward and moving on and having resilience, right? So we're going to get into self-love today because I believe self-love and a level of abundance mindset and the majesty of staying calm while you're angry and upset is part of it. So I wanted to go over these different things because it helps us to build resiliency and coping skills. So we're going to talk about that too. I want you guys to understand it from that viewpoint, and that point of view helps us to be able to build resiliency and mental health. And a lot of people seem to think that it's funny to think about mental health or make fun of someone because they're going through some levels of mental health decline or well-being decline because they're being mentally unhealthily mistreated on and offline. How would you feel if somebody's humiliating you, embarrassing you, and doing everything they possibly can to make you feel bad about yourself? When you started out being an abusive person and then they made you feel ugly or unpretty. So I wanted to ask these questions because part of these are self-levels of getting into the minds of you guys, and so we can start jogging each other's thoughts and begin to have progressive work in a level of breakthrough, psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, and to help those of us who are at war with our own selves and at war with either our spouse or at war with our relationships or we're at war with people who are toxic in our lives. So we talked about levels of strategy, right? Identifying who is toxic in our life, who is causing us upheaval to our well-being. So I want you guys to understand it from that point of view. Let me clear my throat. Help you up. When we're talking about levels and layers like that, and we're talking about trying to find a way to move back to ourselves, our real true self, not the person that's changed, but trying to go back to that person, it's hard because you can't. And the reality of it is that we'll sit there and think, oh, it's going to be easy for me to get back to the real me, but you got to reduce stress. We talk about levels of reducing stress and practicing that level. But when we think about improving the level and layer of our stressful home life versus a work life versus a professional life and what we post to be online, those things are mutually exclusive, but they kind of overlap in life. So in real time, you don't get a chance to always TRF what's going on in your life. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches. So I want you guys to understand what adult bullying is and learning DBT skills and training to be able to get through a level of dialectical brain training when you're going through emotional abuse, torment, for both gaslight or things like that online, and then rebuilding yourself as well. So that's part of it. And then, like I said, reducing stress is part of it. And then on top of that, strategic skills to reduce it and get yourself back together. Because I'll tell you one thing about it. Life is often stressful, right? But it's how you handle it. So when we think about all of that, and we're thinking about levels and layers of how most people live their life and how they live their life from the perspective of online, offline, it's mutually exclusive, but it's together but separate, but it overlaps online. So when we think about resiliency, trauma, and coping skills, learning how to reduce the stress is part of it. So most people have things in their life that are difficult or even harder to or impossible to change. And sometimes the course of your marriage can change you in the middle of that. So there are many stressors that we experience that are situational. That's what I meant by situational depression. And emotional levels of torment and abuse can do that to you and have you looking like Marmaduke online. So when we think about that, it's a situational level of what's in our locus of control. What's in our locus of control that helps us to get back better. Then on top of that, even though there are many people as they act as they are not, that's what I meant by acting as you're supposed to be versus what you're supposed to be. So when we think about all of this, no matter what kind of stress you have in your life, there are efforts that you can do to reduce it or reduce the reaction to it. It is easier said than done, folks. I want you all to understand why. If you look at the positive effects on your mental health from reducing stress, it helps you to not have your sympathetic nerves taxed. Once your parasympathetic nerves, your sympathetic nerves are taxed, you're in fight or flight freeze for so long, you tend to break down. Your well-being breaks down. Your emotional health, your mental health breaks down, and you become a little bit unstable. It doesn't mean you're emotionally unstable, and people like to trigger with those words, and I think a lot of y'all need to stop it. Yeah, I'm talking about several of you who do it. You need to quit it, because some of y'all are so demonic, so messed up, and so nasty, and so evil online, and then y'all get off on trying to trigger people. Some of you people are picky naturals and picky issues so bad to where I just don't like you because your personality sucks. Yes, that is. Because some of y'all are so mean and horrible and get off on that because you have a viewership and a following. But just like you have a viewership and following, you can lose it. Let me remind some of you picky badgers and picky issues and take y'all down a peg or two. So when we're talking about this, think about stress like stones in the backpack that you may carry around each day. And like I say, sticks and stones, but words will never hurt me. But that's not always true. Words are just like a sharp knife. It can cut you. It's just like getting backlash from a level of your marriage falling apart or your relationship falling apart in a smear campaign. I've been through it. A smear campaign that hurt me so bad and caused me a level of anger and upset. Y'all saw it. Y'all see me beat, you got me messed up, you tried me, beat. I mean, all the excellence of the Lord that happened to me. And when I tell you how far it went, there was levels of this for 2 years, and people said, hey, you're being trolled online for like 2 years, and why are you on here? I'm on here to do business and network with you all and garner my following. It's not about numbers, but I'm trying to gain the support so I can build my business and expand it. I've been working on this business model since 2016 here with my coaching, but prior to that, I was an entrepreneur with Boris websites. I had 8 websites that were Boris e-commerce, and I had a business model since 2013, and I deployed it in 2014. That business model was solid. I'm seeing it in the UK and over there in California, and those women need to be paying me my royalties or else do a great job for you. Because there's no levels and levels of how far it's going to go with my exes who stole the business model and took their butt out to California and gave it to the dwarves. And they need to understand that. I'm not playing with Armenian dick trampolines or the Trinidadian sluts either. I want people to understand that because as a life coach, business coach, and a business entrepreneur, and brander, and a mentor, there's levels and layers of things you don't do. And when you cost me money and you stole business ideas and business models, you need to be paying me or we'll be in federal court, civil court, criminal court, county court, and I will see the bricks off you. Because I can prove that I built these businesses. Like I told you about it. I built this business, CC Fashionista and Diva Fragrance, in 2014. But the business model was made in 2013. And I had this conversation with my homeboy Max a long time ago. We did this. We were building e-commerce before e-commerce was popular. So when I tell you that the business model was stolen, it was. So when we talk about little layers of dealing with somebody who rocks your confidence, does all this stuff, and his daddy's an IT specialist, and they went and got and grabbed my stuff and went out there dealing with the Armenian dick trampolines and a Trinidadian word was playing on my phone. This is 10 years in the making. So there's levels and layers of retribution that has to be done here. There has to be a level layer of transparency here. And there needs to be a level layer of lawsuits because you stole a business model and you're gaining money off of me and what I built. So when I tell you the levels and layers of that type of betrayal trauma and the levels and layers of smear campaign that was done to me and the levels of misdiagnosis that happened to me, and I'm only Asperger's syndrome malfunctioning except for gifted at E, then you need to understand that there's levels and layers to that. So it rocked my confidence level. It made me feel ugly. It did. I felt really pretty for a while. But I've always felt pretty. I was pretty all my life. I was like, okay. But when you don't feel pretty because of the way people treat you, or people sit there and degrade you, or make you feel like you're not somebody. But my mom always put me in front of the mirror and said, I am somebody. Tell yourself you're a black girl magic. You're everything. I am somebody. I am a black queen. Right? Go back and think about it. I'll say, Mom was right. I'm beautiful. I am somebody. I am a good, resilient woman. I'm a mixed heritage, so, but I still identify as black. I am a beautiful black woman. I am a beautiful mixed woman. But one thing about it, I still identify as black girl magic. I also identify as white girl magic. But I identify as black. But the main thing about that is I have to go tap into my inner queen. My inner majesty of being calm. Or remaining calm while people are trying to make me uncalm, unhappy, miserable, and sad. Of course I went through sadness. Of course I was like Marmaduke online plenty of times. What's the change, Nisha? Some of y'all can't even keep a man on your good day. Some of y'all can't even keep a woman on your good day. So what's the difference? Everybody has their time when they feel bad and don't want to dress up. Yeah, I'm not buying it online. What's the thing? Did you buy it? Do you pay my mortgage? No. Then I suggest you sit down. So that's why I want you guys to understand I am a resilient level of having these conversations and unpacking it as such. Because a lot of times we got people in this world who get off on triggering and upsetting people because it's fun for them. And with that being said, I want you guys to understand how important and imperative it is to be able to understand this from a level and layer of I've been through what y'all been through. So I'm a qualified person to be able to talk to you as a life coach, a wellness coach, a divorce coach. I'll be certified this year. And then on top of that, working with the courts. Then on top of that, working with DCNF to be able to help people who have been through what I've been through because I fell through the gap. I didn't have the level and layer of support I needed because in the beginning, people were wealthy, well-connected, involved in this, including up to my parents. Then on top of that, a level layer of revolt and gaslight, and they affected my adopted marriage. They affected my family. But they don't understand how far that did some damage, psychological, emotional. But then they're mad because it's all coming out. Because what goes on in the dark comes to the light. The same thing with a cheating husband, cheating fiance, cheating relationships. So when we talk about this is not to put anybody on Front Street or embarrass or humiliate anybody. I've been through it. I know what it's like to be embarrassed online. I know what it's like for somebody to drag you for a filth because you're sitting up here looking like Marmaduke online. Well, look, ma'am, it's COVID. I decided I want to wear my bonnet. Sir, I didn't want to put on a face of makeup. I'm sorry, I didn't feel like doing so today. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't look like a broccoli today. Too bad, so sad. I'm still able to do my job even in my bonnet. So when we think about all these things, y'all see my facial expression. I'm like, you done? You know, those type of things, you got to treat yourself like I love myself, whether I have my bonnet on or whether I have my hair did and pressed to the nose. So think about it. That's why I have this on in solidarity with Derek Jackson's life. Otherwise, we've been through it. Because a lot of us have been through that where we felt unready. Or she's a whole beautiful soul. I looked at her pictures. That woman was gorgeous when she first got married. Let me tell you something. Marriage changes us sometimes. When you start having kids, or when you start having a husband, and you got to take care of him, and then you got to make sure that you got to take care of his career. You got to make sure you support him, be his support personnel, because it's like, you have been here for all my time. You think about all of that. I wasted all my time. It's like the Mary J. Blige song. You've been together with somebody so long that by the time you left me for the secretary, it's like, bro, I'm going to look like Mama Duke in the beginning, but let me tell you something. Once I get back to myself, sir, look, this is what you married. I'm going to make you miss me, but I don't want you to miss me no more. Because once you get your sexy back, ladies, fellas that have been through it and had a woman cheat on you, once you get back and feel sexy and you realize, baby, you're the perfect shape, you look good inside and out, no matter what somebody tell you, you go back and sit there and think to yourself, you know what, I'm going to get my sexy back. Let me get up here like I've been. Let me get on my floor. And then you sit there and look at yourself in the mirror, just like I told one man's face, the perfect shape of you, big and small. Let me tell you something. I fell in love with a man, not the person that you are at this time. So at that point, like I told him, I meant it when I said you were the perfect shape. Whether you fat, thin, tall. That means you truly love somebody, whether or not they're big or skinny. But the problem comes in when there's disrespect, okay? And that's when we need to talk about the levels and layers and what it does to our mental health, our emotional health, or our sanity level, and how it can make us feel. Because we'll be sitting up there looking crazy once somebody does something that changes us. So our resiliency level, our emotional welfare, our mental welfare becomes a level layer of, this is a trial to my life. This is a level of, I'm fighting for the soul of myself, to preserve myself. If you're looking at a woman who's resorting to a level of religion to keep from losing her religion on her man, y'all need to understand this. This woman's going through some things we don't know nothing about. That's why I'm not speaking on it. That's why I'm not laughing at her for wearing her bonnet. They're not laughing at her for wearing her military fatigue. She might be at a point of war with God to keep from losing her religion and cluck it inside stand. It was like, ladies, come on. Ladies, we've all been through it where we had that one relationship that if he one more time does something, it's almost like snap, verse 48. You just got to leave him. Because if you don't, that person will wear you down and have you looking crazy. And especially if it's been online humiliation, degradation, or damages, egregious levels of damages, that does something to someone like you. I want you guys to understand it. Because I'm not saying that she's at snap mode, but she done had a nervous breakdown somewhere along the line. She done emotionally broke down somewhere. And if y'all can't recognize the dead look at somebody's eye or that look of them checked out, like they're literally like, and they're just literally looking stoic, that's grief, y'all. I want y'all to understand mental health in that sense. I know it looks like I'm making light of it, but I want you guys to understand what that looks like. Because what does a victim look like? What does trauma look like, y'all? I think y'all go into these Lifetime movie looks of seeing an actor rolling on the floor looking crazy like this all done. But y'all don't understand what it really looks like in real life. It looks like that lady sitting up there with a bonnet, no bra on, looking pretty upset. I'm upset. It's literally like she's at a war with her own self. And then she's at a war with her own spouse. So find a way to love him, to find a way back to what I want to go inside his head and club him one. And when you think about that, think it from that perspective versus making fun of this lady and degrading her further and making her feel bad. She's already embarrassed and humiliated as it is for her personal life to be up for a subject matter. I want y'all to understand this and have a little bit of humbleness and humility when it comes down to it, because we all went through it, sis, sir, brother. Because I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. Yes, I am. So when we think about all that, what is it saying? I am abundance mindset. Each one, reach one, teach one, lift the other when they're down. You pick your brother and your sister up when they're down. You don't kick them in the teeth while they're down. Because let me tell y'all something. I don't want to get on a sermon or a high horse. Because we've all done it. We've all laughed at somebody or laughed at somebody's pain. But once you grow up and put childish things away, you learn how to act like an adult. You learn to have emotional intelligence with other people. You learn to figure out that something's going on with someone and you don't hurt them further. You don't humiliate them further, embarrass them further than they already are embarrassed. If you can't lift your brother and your sister up while they're down, then sit on your hands, ma'am or sir, or in between trans. I don't hate the trans community. By the way, I love the trans community first. I support the LGBTQIQ, QIA community. But if you cannot reasonably lift someone up like a teammate, a football player, and huddle with someone and say, hey, I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. Yes, I am. Then sit your $5 behind down while I make change. Yes, said it. Because a lot of y'all need to stop it. Y'all use the internet for the wrong thing. I didn't mean to get on the soapbox like somebody's mama, but I'm going to tell you something. I am somebody's mom. People did my child the same way. She's been bullied since she was in 6th grade. And let me tell you something. She's a beautiful soul. And once I see my baby break down behind that, it made me think about no RIP, no reckless internet posting. Deb Abby did this on behalf of her son who died behind social media. And let me tell y'all something about reckless internet posting. No RIP is something I want to get behind one day and support that. Because Waka Flocka's mama, Deb Abby, is a music executive. And this is where music makes my heart beat. I never thought that reckless internet posting could actually make somebody feel like hurting themselves. I never thought that reckless internet posting or being humiliated, tormented on the internet could make somebody feel so bad. I'm not suicidal. I don't have suicidal ideation or tendencies. But social media can take you down and up through it. Because there's so many trolls and horrible people on the internet who don't know how to act. They're unsafe, miserable, nasty, mean. Because their life was broken offline. Picky Patrick and Picky Isha. And those type of sorry, triggering people are disgusting. Yes, that is. And if you don't like it, too bad. Because there's a level, a layer of understanding that you cannot continue to harm people on the internet, y'all. Too many people have taken their lives on the internet. You watch people actually shoot people on the internet because they were up there picking on social media live. I watched a story on the Honey Channel where this guy actually shot this girl. He was the one cheating, but he shot this girl because she was picking with the girl he wants to be with. He shot her. And imagine what that's like. And I'm giving you guys these examples of how social media can be either dangerous or they need to get it together and make it more safer. Because I'm going to tell you now, just recently, my life just got safer. Social media managers have taken the time to start getting rid of the people who were doing things. Because they realized there was a problem. So somebody asked. You get trolls on here every day. You get gaslit on here every day. Why are you on here? To do what I'm doing right now? Coaching, branding, showing you I know what I'm doing. But it took a long time for people to understand because they went back and looked at the videos. They're like, you've been going through this a long time. It's not you that's the problem. It's them. You've been with us for so long. I don't blame you for going on. Now I understand why you've been angry. Now I understand why you went off like that. But a lot of people don't have emotional intelligence to do their forensic work. That's why I said we were going to talk about forensic psychiatry, psychology, and this life. We got to learn to look at things and start analyzing, not judging. Because if you think about it, those of you who are laughing at Derek Jackson's wife, do you not see a woman that's hurt? Do you not see a woman who feels unpretty, although she's beautiful and gorgeous? Do you guys not see a woman who is sitting up there hurt that her husband's cheated, probably from again and again? He's just got caught. Do you not see a woman who's embarrassed because the side piece has no remorse? Do you not see that is a level of layer of all of us at some point come into that? We either have been in the role of I left home to be with my side piece, or we've been the person who's been cheated on. Think about that, what I just said. We've all played the role, whether you're male or female or trans or anything in between. I'm a cisgender female. We've all made mistakes. That doesn't mean we have to live there in those mistakes. But it means there's a level and layer of all y'all who judge people about how they look. Look, y'all know I look like Marmaduke online. I don't give a damn. Excuse the language. But one thing about it, y'all can see that I have to dress up nice and dress for nice, or I can look like a whole bum. And even on my worst day looking bummy, I still look all right. So that means that I'm naturally a nice-looking person to myself. I'm all right. I'm an average-looking female. But let me tell you something. You're not going to sit up there and call me ugly. You're not going to talk about my doggone bonnet because I'll put it on again just in front of you. So I'm going to tell you, are you paying for my bonnet? Are you paying for my mortgage? Are you paying to replace my car that this man damaged? Are you paying for any of my stuff that I do to replace all the things that he's damaged in my house? Are you paying for me a new desktop? Are you paying for me a new laptop? If not, shut up. Yes, said it. Shut up. And my one of my baby's first words. Said it to my sister. Shut up. And I'm just like my baby did when she was 2 years old. Shut up. She saw it on TV. And she ended up like being a sponge, like SpongeBob. I'm ready. She's like, shut up. So I'm telling all y'all who did this, like childless children, shut up. Because it's not funny. It's not funny to make fun of somebody's pain and use it for marketing and play around in somebody's face like that. So that's the get on my mom's sermon of treating people as you want to be treated. So let's get into the subject matter, like we were just a minute ago. But when we think about that, stress is like stones. Sticks and stones, words may hurt you. They can, because words are like a tongue. The power in the tongue is that your words can actually hurt other people. Your written words are even worse because it's written stone. Whether you erase it or not and get it off the internet, guess what? There's still a dark web. It can still be found. A lot of y'all don't understand that they're supposed to get things off the internet, but look, y'all know how to use it. I do. But let me tell you something. Not everybody has that know-how. Some people will take what you said 10 years ago and use it against you 10 years later. Think about this. I have so much stuff that's on the internet people will use against me 10 years from now. And I'll have to explain that. I was in a bad relationship, a horrible one, multiple relationships, and each one of these men knew each other. And then I had to go through a level smear campaign because they know some of the same people that I do. Some famous, some non-famous. And I went through a level of degradation, humiliation so deep that it cut me to my soul. There's such a pain in my soul that y'all don't even see. Because I'm good at masking it. There's such a pain that is within me that y'all will never, ever be able to understand the level layer, waking up with my fist clenched, ready to fight. Trauma. PTSD. I wanted to get into it because there are soldiers who go over there in the stand who come back the same way. Except for I slept with my enemy. Instead of protecting against enemies, foreign and domestic, which I ended up doing anyway. Because I signed an oath. Let me tell you something. I didn't sign an oath to be with someone who would harm me emotionally. I didn't sign an oath to be with someone who would humiliate me. I didn't sign an oath to be with someone who is a snake in the grass, going to networks, playing in my face, shopping my personal pain, and I confided in that person, in person. So when I tell you guys that it's not funny to go laugh about somebody's pain, I'm speaking on her behalf, but I'm speaking on my behalf. Because when you have to defend yourself, sometimes it ends up on social media because you might have a hard time getting a lawyer. Well, if your favorite is famous and somebody's dating your favorite, guess what? It's going to be hard to come forward and say your favorite's an asshole. And that's by the time it's all said and done, you're up here looking crazy, and they painted you to look like Marmaduke and looking like you're crazy and not even supposed to hurt. I've been there. I looked like Marmaduke online. Sure did. But let me tell you something. That was a pain. Severe pain. You know how long it took me to get out of my bonnet mode? I just now started back wearing makeup recently. It's been 2.5 years since I finally started breaking down mentally, emotionally, and rebuilding myself back to a better person, a stronger person. is almost 3 years total since 2017. I was dying from keeping that stroke control. I'm going to tell you guys something. When you look like death becomes hope, and you're sitting up there in your bed wallowing in pain, physical pain, from emotional degradation, humiliation, torment, by levels of provoking and gaslighting, you're literally going through deadly homicidal antics, red flags, type of stuff that's going on behind closed doors and nobody sees it but you. It took intel specialists and people to come in and see what was going on to protect me from someone else. It took law enforcement who now rides by a little bit more often to make sure I'm safe, so nobody's driving by my house if it's threatened. It took sheriff's department personnel who are learning to drive by and say, hey, looking to see if anybody's around my house, lurking like they were, threatening to drive by my house and hurt me, behind a rich, wealthy arm. Let me tell you something. I feel better. Am I angry with the sheriff's department and the police department? Yeah, in the beginning I was. But I realized they weren't trained. They didn't have enough money. We went through all this before. But I want you guys to understand that family violence can happen. Intimate partner violence can happen. It can happen to the best of us. It happened to me. And it changed me. Crimes changed me. Being cut, raped, sodomized changed me. People don't think your spouse can rape you. Your fiancé can rape you. People don't think that somebody can do things unauthorized to you and then turn around and threaten you. I say I do it to all of my women. We're collateral. My ex of off and on 15 years to that did it to his ex-wife. He did it to all his wives. He did it to Rachel. He did it to Michelle. Said I did it for collateral. In case somebody comes forward about it. I'm going to tell you something. I went 10 years. He hit me. I had bruise marks in my throat. I have a hard time swallowing because he almost crushed my voice box. The DA had to pick up that. The whore he actually dated and whatnot, and I caught him in the club, and he jumped on me because I didn't want to be back with him. And let me tell you something. He jumped on me, and then he had his whore sit there and testify in court, like I said today, but I was with him for 10 years. I was worried. He put widowed on Facebook. He said he was going to ruin my life. 2013, he did. His sister did. Then he recruited my other ex. And then he sat there and did what he did. So imagine layers and layers of trauma together. Imagine layers and layers of trauma. Do you think I want to look like $1 million? Do you think I want to look like a prom queen? Do you think I really want to look like a queen while I'm sitting up here being treated like a peasant? Do you think I really want to look great? But you know what I had to do? I had to find my way back to myself. I had to find my way back to my sexy and bring my sexy back. Because I'm not a ugly woman. And some people's eyes I might, but in some people's eyes I might be the perfect shape. I might be everything they're looking for. I might be the whole package you wanted. I might be trash into it. But one man's trash is another man's treasure. Because you didn't realize what you had. Even though I'm not a fan of Beyonce, because the girl that was in my house is Beyonce's niece. And let me tell you something, I loved her. I did. But the level of trauma because of her dad who was married to her half-sister, it hurt me. It's hard to explain it. I don't like using Beyonce's name. I don't like talking about Jay-Z. My ex is related to him. And at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with him. I have a problem with the situation. But one thing I will tell you guys is that there is a lot that can happen in a period of 10 years. But one thing I'm glad of is I'm able to separate the people and see players in the situation. And separate it in the sense of not hurting people. Because hurt people hurt people. Hurt people break people. Hurt people harm people. That's what I'm able to learn from all of this. And a level of resilience so that people can understand that even Beyonce, Jay-Z have things going on. We just don't know anything about it. They're smart. They don't put it all out there. They're just like anybody else. I don't like to speak on them because guess what? Those are my elders. But I want you guys to understand Derek Jackson is just like Beyonce and Jay-Z. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. It's none of our business. I like to mind the business that pays me. I like to stay in my lane. I don't like to have to speak on people. And you never know who somebody might know of or might be loosely connected or 33 degrees of separation, 10 degrees of separation, 20 degrees of separation. So think about that before y'all go and jump down people's throats and judge them based on how they look right now. That lady's hurting. I've been there. That's why I have on my Army Guard, my military fatigue. because I wanted her to know, sis, I've been where you've been at. I've cried for her. I cried the other day because I was hurt. I was hurt. I didn't have anybody to support me. I did not have social media warriors. And I'm going to tell you something. Social media can even make or break somebody. The humiliation I went through for 10 years behind my exes, let me tell you something, still, it makes me mad to the point that I want to cry. And I don't want nobody to see me cry. 5 people who got online who said, don't cry. That's what that person wants. But the levels of vitriol and hurt that people will inflict on someone based on the judgments that you made, based on what the person told you, or multiple people, multiple key layers did, it did hurt. Words did hurt. Words did sting. Words made me feel like, what did I ever do to you to deserve what you did to me? Nothing. Because I went through everything I could have possibly ever done. I've owned everything I've ever done, good and bad. I told y'all, I've done some things that I ain't shit, but I live in my truth and authenticity. So I do some things. And I told y'all that. But that doesn't make me arrogant. It makes me authentic. To tell you, I do some shit too. Y'all see me do it. When I fight back, I'm with the shit. Keep the language off. I try to be professional, but I'm trying to have an authentic life here. I'll be able to bleep it out later. But with that, I'm not going to be bullied into submission. That's why I went to Sugar Honey Ice too. Because I tell you, look, oh, you want to fight? No fight. Big catch, big Isha, let me pick back. You're going to hate it. And you got to let bullies know sometimes. I'm not taking it. We're not going to take it anymore. Sometimes you have to declare war. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare war. And it's a war for your self-respect, your dignity, your feeling of, I need to feel better about myself, and you're not going to take me down enough through it with your words online troll. You human life-size troll. You disgusting pick-me Patrick, pick-me Isha. Yes, it is. So, when we get back into the content and the context of all this, why I led up to this, I wanted you guys to get that authentic level layer so we can get into the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of everything. So let's sit up. Body language is everything. So when we think about it, make your burden much lighter by being authentic and honest. Add extra stress that you're angry, that you're upset. What am I upset about? Technology abuse, everyday degradation, provoking gaslight, damages to my business model, damages to my daughter that I can't get back, 8 years of damages and provoking gaslight, torment, bullying, harassment, setting the stage for me to react to all this, using it for court and trying to use it against me instead of, being honest that you damaged my life and did all this remote on-beyond force of control. That's why I was angry. That's why you've seen me cussing and fussing on here for years, because it was a cry for help, cry for somebody to stand up for me, cry for somebody to stand up for the bullies for me, because I couldn't handle it by myself anymore. That is literally mentally breaking me, emotionally hurting me, emotionally harming me, making me angry and angrier because I didn't deserve it in the first place. And I'm a fighter. Not naturally like, but more or less like I'm a fighter for my rights. And I'm trying to preserve my dignity and self-respect. I got caught up in reactive abuse syndrome. Gross levels of reaction because of gross levels of malfeasance, injustice, invalidation, force, and control. People want to talk about language, but did you get the message? Did you get the message that he's hurt and harming me? She's hurt and harming me. They're provoking and gaslighting me. They're bullying me. Did you get that? So y'all started going back and looking at the videos for the last 2 and 3 years. Did you start looking at seeing that they were doing it to me, not the other way around? They were feeling their question my mental health while they're doing mentally unhealthy things to me. That's why I was angry. You're seeing me sit here and talk to you guys peacefully and tell you I'm improving my argument. But it took me saying to myself, you know what, they're using this against me. Let me improve my argument. Let me talk about it as calmly as I can. Right now, it's triggering me to talk about it. But guess what? I have to master the art and majesty of being calm to reduce my stress, to reduce the levels of my blood pressure being sky high. My levels of vital signs were wonky through the roof. Y'all don't know my blood pressure was up at 210 over 183. That is stroke level. My blood pressure was so wonky that I was dying. Y'all don't know that when a white boy came along in 2017, 2018 and said, get up out the bed. So long, creative exercise. You can do this. I'm not loyal to anybody anymore because people were doing things disrespectful, degrading me. But one thing I can say and thank that white boy is that it took a person, it doesn't matter about his net worth, it took somebody, a stranger, to sit there and say, you got it going on, you can do this. Get up. It took his office in the management. It took his level of telling me, you're going to be okay. Of course, my situation was out of control, and I applied because I didn't want to embarrass them, and I didn't want to embarrass his friends. So I stopped hospital, mainly, because there's too many people coming after me, provoking and gaslighting and damaging my brand. Come to find out those same people were in his face. I told him, you don't have real friends because those same people are the same people who were around me. My phone ended up in the UK. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to go through that type of mess. And you literally have to go and be your own level of personal lawyer. And you have to defend yourself against multi-perpetrator, multi-district, multi-state, international levels of torts that are going to probably have to be done because of the damages. And it damaged that friendship that could have been a great friendship with that person. Great business acquaintance I could have had with that person. That's always going to be bam-bam. Well, the thing is, the hurt and harm is too much and it's so egregious. And it's embarrassing. I even told him, I said, I've been embarrassed by all this. And sometimes I don't even know how to talk to you anymore because I can't be angry about it. But I did dig him out of the situation because they knew what they were doing. They were dead behind wrong. And I hope they get caught up for all of it because it cost me time. It cost me money. It cost me business opportunities. Who wouldn't be damn mad? Who wouldn't be angry? Who wouldn't be upset? Nuclear upset. It's not about the white boy. I don't care. Because I still cut his ass off. I did. But it was in righteous. So I'm like, who told you that? This is what narcs do. They are agents of chaos and disorder. And when I tell you somebody's suffering from an narc, you can look at them. They look half dead. They look checked out. They look dead behind the eyes. They look haunted. They look gone. They look ate up. But you see a person looking better after they left the person, it's that person. So I want you guys to understand what mental health looks like in real life. What you saw of Derek Jackson's wife is a woman broken down. She's broken. She's mentally broken. She's upset. She's hurt. She's humiliated. And there's a difference between personal offline humiliation versus online humiliation and degradation that alters you. And I'm speaking from experience. 10 years of being bullied on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and then extreme levels to the point that it alters you as a person. Social media can be healthy or unhealthy if you don't mitigate it. So, with that being said, reducing that stress, like I said, in material, is that you've got to be able to reduce that stress because sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me, but they can, not on an extreme level. That's extreme intimate partner violence, extreme emotional partner violence, EPV, IPV. So when we think about that, what you're seeing in real time is a famous woman going through lower depression, situational, marital depression, loss of a marriage. Potential realizing he might have fallen me. I got to love myself more than I love this marriage. I got to pull myself together. I got to get to a place where I went back to the woman that I used to be. This woman you see right here. Not the one you see online with the bonnet. Don't think you're my bonnet. So when she wore her bonnet, I said, I understand this. I don't know. So when we think about the levels and levels of mid, mild stress continues you. It can age you 10 years. It age you 5 years. And I'm looking 15 years older. But have you noticed when people leave somebody stressful or inducing stress, they end up looking younger? It's because of getting adequate rest and eating, sleeping. So I wanted to go over that level of what stress does. So when we think about communicating what you're stressing on, some people can be non-verbally communicating stress and grief. The journey is, how do I communicate effectively without looking crazy? It's not easy. So we're going to talk about levels of adult bullying, because this is the next part I wanted to go into. Because with that being said, this is the nuts and bolts that we really need to get into, is where it just goes into a level layer of trauma recovery and resiliency, and I am abundance mindset. I am resilient. Because then we're going to touch on the self-love. There needs to be a level and layer of anti-bullying task force online for social media. Here's why. Bullies get off on using a reaction against you online. They get off on degrading you, whether you're in business or not. And I've been through it. It damaged my business models and my business rebuild and rebrand out so bad that I had to get a hold of myself and do a social media detox. Okay? And when I tell you I had to do a social media detox, I literally got offline for a week. You see me like not be on here as often. Y'all see me actually take time off. I've been doing this a month because I wanted to detox myself from reaction abuse syndrome. From a low layer of dealing with trolls every day, all day, got me. I followed like beep beep beep. You got me messed up. Beep beep beep. You know what? Beep beep beep. And I'm like, that's not me. I'm not a character. So when we talk about low and toxic bullying, and we're talking about low layers of how do I get my way back from being bullied, harassed, gaslit, and the levels of trauma recovery that have to come in there from a level layer of IP hacks, provoke, gaslight, exploitation, tampering, emotional abuse, tormenting, levels of degradation, levels of humiliation, public toxic humiliation, things that you can't come back from. And when I tell you adult bullying is something that is bad, it is the most terrible thing that you can do to someone and emotionally try to eviscerate them. So when we think about those level layers of identifying what bullying is and bullying awareness, we have to be aware of what bullies will do on and offline. We think about level layers of how far a cyberbully will go. We think about identifying the characteristics of bullying. They tend to be mean. They get along with a lot of people, so friend of everybody's a friend of nobody. We think about they tend to disobey the rules, and they like to go against the rules and thumb their nose at the rules, right? They post positive articles and stories, but they act opposite of that. I've been through it. I've been the subject of a level of smear campaign online where I've been provoked gas, but then people question my mental health. They're not questioning his mental health or her mental health. The levels of narcissism and following. Then they disrespect everyone else. It's like, or they mess up your level of presentation, or they IP hack in early your presentation, or they play with cable lines. They do all kinds of stuff like that. I've been subject to that. They always seem self-assured, but they're always doing something to make you unassured. They do everything to validate your valid qualms, your valid griefs or grievances. So when you think about handling a cyberbullying and you think about how far that they will do this and you think about bullying awareness, bullying is wrong. There is nothing okay about bullying someone. There's nothing okay about the level of cyber aggression off and offline or environmental aggressive behavior, micro or macro. There is no level layer of it's okay to sit there and have gang violence online. What I mean by gang violence is a cyber mob, cyber stealth, cyber bait, catfishing, provoking, gaslighting, cruelty to a person, attempted murder, attempted homicide. What I mean by emotional soul rape, emotional homicide, emotional level of vitriol, or emotional abuse and torment and gaslighting and bullying, which I mean gang stalk, online cyber stalk, and cyber bait, cyber stealth, like it was done to me, like it was done on YouTube. You guys Zeke Alpha, the IT specialist, and I found out he was non-responsible for some of the YouTube people, and Sasha Trencher and Kiwi, and her, she was on Nikki payroll, and did all these type of things. I'm going to tell you how far my ex is fed. And he married to this girl who's industry, the same girl that played my phone. And then not only did she do a lot of damage, but he did a lot of damage. He's also a police officer's son, a Fed's son. So not only did he do a lot of damage, but he did a lot of psychological damage, emotional abuse, and torment. And then he used a level of revenge porn, and people use that for subject matter and actually did it in industry. It pissed me off. They used it for subject matter. It's not funny. It's offensive and it's insulting. You use my pain and suffering for a check. People admit to it. Let me tell you something. It pissed me off. Nuclear pissed me off. Because when you think of the level of bullying that I went through and I started outing him, then they started their smear campaign even more. Periscope, Twitter, Facebook. I went through for 10 years. Then there's a level of rape and abuse, emotional soul rape, mental soul rape, sodomy, gaslighting, getting in my house, unlocking my doors, terrorizing me, provoking and gaslighting, recruiting neighbors to go get involved, provoking and gaslighting domestic to the point that it's like, bro, you are a terrorist. You're a horrible person. Like, what do you have against this girl? And it's multi-perpetrator, multi-district, multi-state tort because he had my phone over there overseas. And most of my exes went with network. They gained off of all the damages that they did to me. They sold business models. Father did it. So when we're talking about levels and layers of how far it went to several social media platforms, trust me, I was mad. I started studying who was doing it, and then I put it together. And let me tell you, I did more forensic work than the people who were supposed to protect me. I went to agencies about that. I told the truth. So let me tell you something. It took a lot for me to improve my argument. But when I tell you that's what it looks like when somebody's going through torment, bullying, and harassment, it looks like psychologically deranged or a level of emotionally unstable, since y'all like to trigger and use words. What is a person supposed to look like when they're traumatized and keep on reinflicting trauma? Sir, ma'am, pick me, you should be pediatric. I'm just asking for a friend, because y'all like asking stupid questions. Why did you stay in an abusive relationship? Because one of my exes threatened to kill me and murder the person I was with when I found somebody new. Because he said he'd kill me or anybody else with when he's choking me. He lied in court, but then came after court and tried to apologize about what he did because he sat there and literally stalked me for a day. Him and his whore. She keyed my car. That's why I have a restraining order against her right now. That was the first one. The second pick-me-you-should is the one he married. The second guy that I dated. And his pick-me-you-should did a lot of stuff. Went in federal records or sealed. I was adopted when I was younger. She went in my records and played in my face. She played online. Her and several others. And when I tell you how far they went with it, because they wanted to reduce the validity of my claims against him. Because his pick-me-you-should wants them. Sure did. And when I tell you pick-me-you-should and pick-me-you-should are one and the same, there's such thing as female incels, male incels, male narcs, female narcs. I was dealing with one. Almost married to another. And when they go and they interview well, they do. They will have a low layer of doing so much psychological damage that you're always seeing looking unstable, upset, and angry. When you're whole stable. I was stable before I met him. I'm stable after I left him. Every last one. I'm always fine. It's them, not me. If y'all see me in this form, this is the real me. This is my real character. This is me. I'm not the angry person you think. They use my anger that's righteous against me. Try to invalidate, intimidate, provoke, and gaslight. The same people were making fake accounts, catfishing, and looking at everything I had to say on social media and using it against me. I want you to know how far female incels, what I call femcels, and incels will do. They don't care nothing about your reputation. They're trying to preserve theirs at all costs, their money, or assets they sold. They did to me. They sold business models. There are business models in the UK right now. I can tell you that TE are the ones who stole my sales and taxi license. Sure did. EINs. And I was told by the Department of Revenue. How would you feel if somebody stole money from you? Stole your business model and sitting over there in other countries and in California? How would you feel if somebody owes you royalties for your business and your business model? How would you feel if somebody did you like that and tried to have you punitive psychiatry because you're not forgiving them for their detrimental, nasty behavior, or you find out how far of a snake they were? How would you feel? Angry, upset, and then the indirect aggression and gossiping and spreading cruel rumors. That's bullying. That's terrorism. Then you think about being exposed to physical violence, sexual abuse. You think about levels of violent behavior witnessed in the home or in the neighborhood, domestic terrorism, all enemy. We're thinking about levels of violence in media, social and economic levels of provoke and gaslight. We're thinking about levels of poverty or being driven into poverty or driven into being broke because they're trying to drain you financially to keep you from getting lawyers, or lawyers are participating because they're benefiting from it. I went through this court in Georgia. I had to seek political asylum in Georgia. And I was told good luck with getting a lawyer. Brian Kemp's office in Green told me good luck with getting a lawyer. Chanel Schuler over there in Florida told me good luck with getting a lawyer. They lied. They don't point to my face. And when I tell you how far that levels of threatening to shoot me, threatening to stab me, I've been cut across my face, I've been cut across my body, cut across my nose, been cut across my stomach, my back, my breast, 50 to 60 times in my own house. My house is no longer the same. It's my home-based business. I was terrorized my own home-based business. Now you can understand why I'm validly upset. So when you look at this woman, Derek Jackson's wife, and you're sitting up there making fun of her, and she's in her military garb, she's at war with herself to keep from going upside the same cook anymore. She's at a war with her own husband. It's different from being in that stand over there overseas in Kandahar or Fallujah, Iraq, or Afghanistan. It's whole different when you're coming to take out Adrian, actually sitting up there and literally being at war and sleeping with the enemy, like I said. So when we think about this, aggression and bullying is something that we all have to speak on. It is not okay to toxically bully and shame someone. It's not okay to invalidate somebody's pain and suffering and use it for your own fodder. Well, I don't think it's fun. In fact, I'm insulted that people actually do this. That y'all get off on hurting someone so bad that you're willing to go and take at her and say, I see why you cheated. No, you don't. She's not all that. She just had a bunch of muscle. So what? It's not all like you. But for some women, it's every woman's dream. One woman's trash is another woman's treasure. I'm hoping this woman feels like she's a treasure and she remembers that she looked like a smack and a dime before she married him. Give back to yourself, sis. E.T. from room. Sit with your church folks and find a little of love for yourself. Love yourself, self-love. So let me tell you something. Self-love is something amazing. Once you wake up and you fall on this little light shine a light on this. That's the girl. That's how it is. It took me a long time to snap out of a level and layer of feeling like crap. It took me a long time to keep from feeling like I deserved it because people kept on trying to brainwash, like, say something wrong with me, fight me back. People tried to make it seem like something's wrong with me, saying you're not going to treat me like that. Or he's not going to embarrass me, and I'm not going to tell my side. Because nobody listened when I went to the help. The help was bought off and paid off. I'm not going to sit there and do this, and I'm not going to sit up there and lose my daughter because she meant everything to me. She still does. My daughter broke down because she watched what happened to me. She watched me go through this. And sometimes I feel angry. I have a problem daughter. Tell them no. How I had to be a wounded warrior. I didn't even take care of myself for 8 years. While I was going through years today, I didn't take care of myself. I almost died for strength. Situational depression, environmental depression, socioeconomic depression, economic abuse, financial abuse, coercive control, pure teen, narcissistic abuse, emotional Munchausen by proxy, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I'm a walking Gypsy Rose. And sometimes I try not to break down still. I try not to be a walking mental health patient that's healed. Because you can't heal that kind of trouble. You may not ever heal because it's only needs to help love part. And finding a way to cope. They say when you stop crying, you've healed. I'm almost there. It's still fresh. I don't cry as much. The trauma's so real. Here, I'm just not going to talk about being angry. That's why victims don't always talk. But no, I am not allowed to talk. I am not allowing myself to talk in anger. I don't allow myself to talk as a life coach, a mother, an entrepreneur, a business owner, and as a wellness coach, health coach, a graduate, student of life, and an actual student and graduate from PSC, and a holistic coach, a bachelor's degree, human resources, and business management, a well-qualified Black woman, a well-qualified mixed, a person who was going through abuse through college. My college experience was hard because I was dealing with all that on top of branding, on top of raising a child to watch her mother be damaged from the time she was 7 years old. I now have a 16-year-old, she'll be 17 this year. Yeah, I got a 17-year-old. Almost. Let me tell you something. I got a resilient, brilliant, smart, gets on my freaking flipping nerves. 60-year-old turning 17, going on 70. That's what makes me smile. That's what makes me go on. I could have broke down from this. I could have sat there and looked like Mama Dick the rest of my life. My vomit, and literally sit there and not have makeup on and look like a slutty baby. But I'm going to show you guys that I'm actually a beautiful person inside and out. I want you guys to see what pain looks like. Real internal emotional pain and suffering looks like in real time. I took a high risk to do a vlog in real time on Periscope. I took a real risk of my business and I gambled with it to tell my truth and live in my truth and deal with the levels of humiliation that I did for the last 2 years. Because I didn't want to end up dead. I didn't want to end up everybody blamed me. And if I did end up dead, everybody knew what happened. Because I'm frightened, provoked, gaslit, cut, threatened to die, threatened to be set up with child pornography, and I don't even watch that. I was threatened to be harmed. My daughter was threatened to have sex with her underage. I mean, it's so much stuff that y'all do not know that I don't talk about because it's so much. It's so much damage that y'all see a strong woman. It's the only truth I got. So when you look at a black woman or you look at a mixie like me, I look black. I'm mixed black and white. So let me tell you something. I identify as black. I got treated as black. People don't understand the black woman's hurt. I do. I'm on both sides of the fence. I understand a white woman's hurt. I understand a black woman's hurt. But a black woman's hurt is something deeper. It comes to a big split. The black woman should be strong all the time. Take hit, emotional hit, mental hit, psychological hit. It's still be saving because we've all been strong. But we're the most underserved, unappreciated women in the world. Even though I have the white side of my family, we're married in white and plus I'm mixed white. I understand it from both senses. I want people to not look at it black and white. That's why things are not always black and white. When you pick up that journal, now you know what that story is all about. Because things are not always black and white. Sometimes they're gray in between, like this. Classy base like this. But things are not always black and white. Yeah. I didn't get the respect that I earned as a black woman, as a mixed white woman, and black. I identify as black. I just am black coloring. But I didn't get the protection that a white woman gets. This is not black and white. Nothing's linear. I want you guys to understand that from that perspective. So we're going to get into the self-love and mental health part of that. How does bullying, infighting, family violence, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, extreme psychological violence affect us? Just like Dixie Rose Blanchard, or when we think about Dan Broderick's wife, she married a lawyer. She went to consult with Dan Broderick's friend and thinking that she could trust him with her own thoughts. He went and told Dan Broderick everything she said. That woman was gaslit. That woman is 69 years old, a white woman, housewife, sitting in jail rotting because she finally snapped and said, beep, 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 you got me messed up, beep, 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 I just got Adrian. Because the not by proxy, new wife decided to provoke her, gaslight her, and they threatened to take her kids. What do you think that white woman is doing right now? Why she's not sorry for shooting the shit out of her husband? Yeah, I said it. That's why we pushed her over the edge. Psychologically, she doesn't have the resilience level I do. If I was any lower resilient, I would probably be out here cutting it out. If I wasn't resilient, mentally strong, psychologically strong, emotionally strong. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. A narc can break you down to the point that you're nothing but a former shell of yourself. When you're looking at Sarah Jackson's wife, you're looking at a former shell of herself. You look at her pictures 10 years ago, she was beautiful. A beautiful shape, beautiful face. She's just looking now. She was psychologically broken. What you're saying is a woman who doesn't feel pretty. It's like a song. I'm pretty. And let me find that for you guys. I want y'all to listen from why it's important to hear that. Feeling pretty can make any woman feel like they are ugly. When I tell you that the psychological breakthroughs that have been done in mental health, emotional health, and trauma, PTSD, and relationship recovery, I'll answer you in just a minute here. I'm going to talk about levels of relationship and resilience and self-love. This is the next part, mental health. A lot of people find everything funny for them. Imagine being a strong woman and broken down by a man who's a weak, broken man, or has weaknesses of the flesh or weaknesses of the mind, who feels less than you but still he has to psychologically break you, or trains you to feel like you're less than him, or trains you to feel like, oh, you're lucky to have me, so the other way around. He's not the price she is. She doesn't realize it. Because somewhere along the line, she admits to you guys she's been through rape or some type of abuse prior to marrying them. So when we think about that, what does that say? Forensically, it means there's something psychologically that happened before she married him. She feels like she's a savior. So it means there's some layers that we don't know anything about. I don't want to discuss it because it's not my place, but I've been her. I know what it's like to be raped at 16. My high school basketball player's brother. Yeah, he did it. I'm his friend. They switched. Me and another girl. They left us in the woods. He had to walk home 2 miles from the house. I still see the place when I go to my mom's house. I keep in mind. I know exactly where he did it. I'll never forget it. I had to walk to my home. It was low function. And I'm in first. High function. So when I'm telling you that sat with me for a long time, I cried the last year and the last year because one of my homegirls from high school actually sat with me. He said, so got arrested and took away. He did something to a young girl. And I was like, the same guy that raped me? She said, what? I said, yeah. Same guy that raped me kept his homeboy. That's the one that switched. I had a breakdown all night. Everybody saw it. I cried because I got close for 20 years later. You don't know what that did to me. I got a back tattoo to cover up where the leaves in a pinch stuck in my back, top and bottom. I got tattoos to cover scars. Y'all don't know. So when you look at somebody's tattoo is not ugly. They're probably covering up something ugly that happened to you. I did the same thing. Tattoo gave me peace. The pain that I felt when I get tattooed takes the pain away. Takes the psychological scars away. That's why I love this song, Snapbacks and Tattoos, because I had snapped back to reality plenty of times. It told her own. And act like everything was fine. Because I didn't want people to blame me for what somebody else did to me. My decision to go joyriding ended up in rape. But people always say, oh, why do you keep doing your situations? Maybe because I was trained to be around people who took advantage of people. Or maybe I was trained and raised with a good parent, and it ended up happening, and I didn't want my parents to have us taken away from them. I didn't know what happened. Well, those 2 weeks later, by the time I broke down, maybe the cop yelled in my face, why didn't you come forward earlier? Because you yelled in my face just like you do now. I am Asperger's. I don't know. Any better. So I felt victimized. Again, re-traumatized, but I'm not saying anything. Well, let me tell you something. I closed my eyes 20 years later. The other one, he's still free. I told him online. I'm like, do you realize that you're walking around here free because I never pressed charges on you? Do you realize you got to have a girlfriend and whole family? I could press charges on you. I couldn't. I think you need to leave me alone on you. And I want you guys to understand that. Multi-levels of degradation and harm. Imagine getting married and somebody that's your savior from something like that. Imagine what that psychologically does. Like, what if you married a narcissist or a covert narcissist? What if you married an arrogant person who's not a narcissist? What if you married somebody that makes you feel like you're less than them? That you're lucky to have me? Now you know what she's for. I'm not going to be objecting, but I am. I'm not trying to speak to them. I'm not trying to paint a picture. I want you to understand what I went through, and that can relate to that. And then psychologically, what it does. Because when we think about the bullying, when we think about the aggression, and we think about the aggressive thoughts and feelings, reactivity syndrome, or what can be seen as narcissistic, because you're fighting that, but you're only a hurt person who has been hurt enough that you're fighting that. And the aggression is, you got me messed up, you're not going to do this, That's it. I went through the 5 stages of grief. Disbelief, upset, anger, hostility, nuclear upset. A calm, pissed off woman, don't go back up. Don't work it out unless you really truly have somebody who's willing to forgive you flaws and all and not remind you every day of your natural born life of what you did. Here's why. You will find a level and layer of a person so mad with you that you're not going to be able to fix it. You're not going to be able to fix the trauma that you inflicted. You're not going to be able to fix the level of degradation and harm, psychological, unless all this is therapy, couples therapy, and level of seeing a life coach, health coach, psychiatrist, psychologist on top of it. Do hope to God that you don't be non-exposed to that person because you might be one wrong thing and they might help you study it. Because you can only push somebody so far, psychologically, before they break. And people know that. Narcs know that. Manipulative people know that. They know exactly what they're doing. People knew what they were doing. I called help change my story. Change story, think about it. No. Wealthy Boston is not saying what they're doing because they covered up people weren't those down in the city. What else about it? They didn't care. It benefited them from being on board. It benefited a lot of people. But my truth set me free. I would still be going to it if it hadn't been for me telling the truth. I was forced to because they were continuing to escalate. I mean, they're done. I couldn't get into this about the game. My life is challenged right now, trying to go get my vital signs stabilized. My blood pressure stopped being up and down from levels of degradation being poisoned about the background. I did something. I'm surviving a lot of things. So when people say, oh, you couldn't have went through that much, I didn't tell you everything they did. She did. Someone else did. I didn't tell you that. I told no. Now I don't care. But you know what? I'd rather stand in my truth and tell y'all exactly what happened so people can get my side of the story, their side of the story, but they knew my side of the story would debunk all their lies. Because why sit up there and defend myself when my truth can actually destroy all your lives? And that's what Knox expects you to do, not tell the truth. They expect you to be angry and upset with me against you for a while. But I decided I'm going to do my argument, tell you guys my story. Also, rebrand, all business. Trying to have safe lives. Teach you guys something. Teach some of you who don't feel resilient, who don't feel like they're never going to come back from what happened to you. And here's the thing what happened to me. I need to be working at language and working at professional, and going back to real professional I was before all this happened. And you often come back from anything. You guys can come back from a little hard layer of things that happen to you. This is self-love. Look at the definition of self-love. And self-efficacy. Let's look at self-efficacy first before. Self-efficacy is something that allows you to believe in one's capabilities to organize and execute the forces of action required to manage respective situations. Now let's go into self-esteem and why you should believe in yourself. If you've been through trauma, or betrayal, or something like that. Self-esteem is something that helps us not have imposter syndrome. It's confidence in one's own worth or abilities and self-respect. And it's similar to that self-respect, self-regard, pride, dignity, morale, and self-confidence. And there are 3 types of self-esteem. That is inflated self-esteem, low self-esteem, high self-esteem. Not bank on having low self-esteem or turning like the level layer of grooming you to feel low about yourself. And they can manage to do that over a period of time to extreme emotional violence, intimate partner violence, or psychological withdrawal on and offline. Yeah, for me. But you have to remember who you are, who I am. Remember what I said? I am resilient. I am coping. I am my dream. So when we think about this, we think about a level of imposter syndrome. When we fail to self-love ourselves, we think about the levels of imposter syndrome to make anybody feel like I'm not who I'm supposed to be. I'm not myself right now. And when I tell you how far that can go, I want you guys to understand that imposter syndrome can have a person who's otherwise well qualified, capable, and able to do their job to the best of integrity and entirety feel like they don't know what to do. It can make a person in a marriage feel like, I don't know what I'm doing otherwise. A girlfriend, a mother. It can have you doing that after you had a baby. Or your husband's working on you mentally after you had a baby. Oh, you're supposed to say, I did not so cute. Sorry, I just had your baby. What do you want me to look like? Give me a mommy makeover. And when we talk about this, men, I want to talk to you guys a bit about self-loving and loving your wife, loving your girlfriend, loving the person you're with. If you see that your wife is having what we call postpartum depression or postpartum level of suffering self-esteem issue, why aren't you being her cheerleader, her male cheerleader to make it feel better? Why aren't you telling her baby so let's stay in with your fupa? I got a post at above the area. Well, I got above the well, when I tell you how we have to get past that in our physical shape, your husband should be telling you, babe, you're in perfect shape. You still look good. You just got kangaroo pouch right now. Let's help you get rid of it. Let's start working out. Let's go walking. Let's get your body back in shape. Let's just snap back. With that being said, that's the way to love someone. That's the way to speak their love language. Say, baby, you don't fell out a little bit. You used to look a little sexier than that. Because you not wear them bloomers to bed. I'll take you to go get you some lingerie. Things like that. Tell your wife that she still look good. Let her know, hey, I'm going to get you a nice little nighty set. It might be a size bigger than what you wear, but I still like it. You got to feel your legs still play. You know, stuff like that. Trying to talk to y'all wives and girlfriends and self. Because a lot of the time, self-love means that if she doesn't love herself at that moment, it's your job to love her. This moment, it is your job to love your wife and your girlfriend when she's not loving herself or feeling some self-esteem or imposter syndrome as your wife, your girlfriend. What is imposter syndrome? It's loosely defined as a level of doubting your ability to feeling like fraud in your marriage, relationship. Levels of feeling unsatisfied. I got a little bit of a second chin. I got some gray hair. Okay, well, babe, let's either dye your whole hair gray or let's go dye your hair back to the color it was. Let's go get you fixed up. Let's go fix you up like a bummer cat. You know, do something to make your wife feel good. Do something to make your spouse feel good. Do something to help your spouse to feel like you still love her. Do something so that your spouse does not feel like you don't want her no more. That's what that woman's looking like when she touched the bottom line. When she's looking like she's a whole green beret, military fatigues all out, and she's got wolves trying not to clump you upside your head. She did once many times, please. Think about that when we're thinking about looking at someone and laughing at their pain, their suffering, and their torment. Think about all of that and think about maybe we need to be careful about how we mistreat people online. Maybe we need to be careful when we judge someone because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Must be some intel. Think about what I just said. Unless you're doing some real intel, technological wise, to know who's their grandpa at the grocery game, you want to respond to who do. Because Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde behind closed doors is not going to show you that outside. So, and I've been through it. I dated it. They're not going to show you that as behind closed doors. Because nobody sees it. Nobody hears it but you. So when we think about this, I've read that. Let me address this comment right quick. Is it freezing? Okay. I know that. That's something you do with parent stuff, but it has nothing to do with this side. It's not freezing on the other end. I'll address it with the technical thing. That's the cable and whatnot, and that's being tampered with as you throw out cable in a jail post range of T6 accounts C22. Those are the IP antics that are going on. And then on top of that, Sam Jackson, LL, and then Sean Corey Carter, and the other people who are involved in all that. You need to address it with them, not me. Just one moment. Let me check this out real quick. There's no issues as of right now, so we should be just fine. Okay, so we're back. Told you guys how to do a test. That's how I know I do basics and whatnot. And I'll be suing Plus Cable and AT&T because I told y'all I'm fed up with it. And there's levels of the IPAC I've been going through. This is what I've my technology abuse, emotional abuse, informant, and gaslighting. So thank you for letting me know. I'll address those issues with the cable company. So back to what we were talking about, self-love. So when we talk about imposter syndrome and things like that, imposter syndrome can help you feeling like you're a fraud. It'll help you feeling like that in a relationship or a bad marriage, or somebody who's willing to sit there and provoke and gaslight and do things to you and emotionally abuse you and torment you and gaslight you in a manner that has been gaslit provoked. So when I tell you somebody who's looking like they're not happy or they're looking like they're a little bit dejected or not wearing makeup, they're not doing things they normally do, that is a signal sign of emotional breakdown. Mental health that's being defined, well-being that's being messed with and things like that. So when we think about this, it disproportionately affects the high-achieving people or self-esteem or who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. Many questions whether they're deserving of the accolades or their respect that they earn. So when we think about this, imposter syndrome can happen to anybody, including a wife, a girlfriend, or a fiance. And it happened to me. I had imposter syndrome real bad. But one thing about it, I remember who I was, who I am. So when we think about I am resilience, we're thinking about levels of abundance. And from going from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset and self-love mindset, that's what I mean by that. So let's get into it about self-love and resiliency. Give me just one moment. Let me pull that for you guys. Because I wanted to get to a level and layer of understanding why we have to have a level of self-sufficiency and self-love. Because if you don't love yourself, how is anybody else going to love you? Seriously. Y'all tell me. Call in line 515-602-9765. And again, cash out love offerings. It doesn't go to IMCC Coaching, Don Diva Coaching, Team One Online, and Talk Radio Diva. When I tell you guys, self-love is something that we always have to start looking at. Do you love yourself? Do you feel like you're deserving of love? Ask yourself that, y'all. Do I love myself enough to leave someone alone? Do I love myself enough to not have loyalty to someone who's shown that they're eventually disloyal to me? And when we think about all these things in self-awareness and assertiveness of self-love, we have to say to ourselves, there is a level of self-love that you have to have for yourself to move forward. And we are going to be putting our self-love planners online, and we're also going to be doing a level of self-love, learning how to love yourself. When I tell you about self-love and how far it needs to go in a level and layer of loving yourself, it means that there is no general level of how it goes. It's not linear. And when I tell you that you have to be able to know yourself, know your worth, know who you are as a person, be able to go and give yourself a level and layer of self-hug, a level of heart, a level and layer of I love me, I love myself, I am somebody. You got to go in here and say, self, I love you. Self, I'm beautiful. Self-love is perhaps one of the most fundamental things that we have to learn to do. Then on top of that, it's most misunderstood context in this world. Then on top of that, some dismiss it as a new age ideology that cannot be in practical terms used every day. They can. But nothing can be more further from the truth. This will allow us to show practical steps of self-love and being able to have self-efficacy. So when we go into our lives tomorrow, we're going to be able to talk about whether it's self-love is the ultimate way to boost our self-esteem. And then become fully healed. And then on top of that, become fully aware. And then on top of that, for practical steps of moving forward and soldiering on. Even when things change us, or life changes us, or levels cause us to have to manage life outside of breakdown, or emotional levels of our well-being being compromised. And when I tell you that we have to get to that point, we have to get to that point emotionally, physically, and then mentally. And a confident person who walks and observes their level of self-awareness and self-esteem and not having imposter syndrome means even when you're in a relationship, in a marriage. And when I tell you guys, you got to get to a point that you love yourself so much that sometimes even walk away from a bad marriage, bad relationship, or what we call life partnership, or a level of common law marriage, then it's okay to do so. Or if you want to preserve your marriage, then self-love yourself enough to put some boundaries there. Self-love yourself enough to say, hey, sir, hey, man, you know, I'll do this here. You're not going to respect me in the way that you used to. I'm done with being the doormat. Here's the rules. Here's what I'm not going to take, and here's what I am going to take. Either you can get down or you can lay down in court. This is not state property. This is like monopoly. Don't pass go. You don't pass my boundary. Straight like that. That's if you're going to try to preserve your marriage, ladies and gentlemen. Because there's a level of layer. Sometimes you give people too much rope, and then they'll figure it on you. They will. So when we think about a level of radical changes to begin from within, that means self-love within, self-work, the inner work, the layers of radical work, radical acceptance, and breakthroughs that we have to get through. And that's the reason why we have the March Madness. We're all about breakthroughs. We're all about a level layer of manifesting, a level layer of stopping the madness. Taking a journey through everything. Taking that journey through the levels and layers of grief, trauma recovery, betrayal trauma recovery, crimes that change us, and then on top of that, a level of sparking, a level of reducing the madness in our life. That's why we did the March Madness, because I want you guys to have these seminars to help yourself, to be able to know your worth. Because when we think about this, you're your own love. And your first love is yourself. Your second love is your spouse. Your third love may be your children. Or it might be yourself and your children at the same time. Your endless love should be yourself before your endless love is your spouse. Hopefully you've met the right spouse and you don't have to do it 2 or 3 times. When we talk about core foundations and spiritual teaching, it does not mean that you have to be in the Bible and get to the point that literally layers of using the Bible for not lose your religion on your spouse. Allow yourself to read your voice. Allow yourself to grieve the old marriage, the old relationship, and your old self that you lost in all of that. Because maybe you lost yourself. Maybe you lost your way. Maybe you lost your footing along the way. You lost who you were. But maybe you lost the person you're not supposed to be. Maybe you're gaining ground and being the person who you're expected to be, who you're supposed to be. Did you hear what I just said, y'all? The person you're supposed to be is a resilient person, a happy person, living your best life, or at least a comfortable life, or tolerating a life less than a series of pathological, unfortunate, abusive, divisive, life-altering, degradation events like I'm going through. Maybe it will help you guys understand that there's a level and layer of resilience that has to be either learned, if you haven't already been taught it, a level of being strong, even though that's the only choice that you have, of being strong mentally, coping skills, things that we're going to talk about tomorrow. I wanted to get into coping skills because that's part of it. Because you got to learn how to cope with some things that are otherwise designed to break you down. They happen to me. But I didn't have the best coping skills. I'm now learning them and mastering them. Pretty good. I mean, it's good, huh? Y'all see me everybody yell at. Y'all see me graduate flying colors. It takes time and it takes practice. I'm naturally a feisty person. Let's get it. Let's go. I'm naturally a cheerleader. Let's go. Please let's snap my fingers. Let's go. Because that's who I'm naturally. But years of abuse beat me down. Kind of like Sophia. You told Hoppo to be me. I got beat down mentally. But let me tell you something. I fought back. Because guess what? I got better things to do with my life. I may be an excellent motivational speaker. You too. I am. I'm taking my sorrow, my pain, my suffering, and I suffered, y'all. Literally, mentally smile, emotionally smile through pain, because there's a song by Scarcity. I got Scarcity, think up, literally. It's further in my butt now. That's my own. I want to emotional death and emotional rebirth that is so deep. To go down and understand that other things fire burn out with ashes coming out of the flame. My soul is a tortured soul, but I got to be the soul. I'm rising out of the ashes of everything that people threw at me, from the foundation of bricks that were thrown at me. I'm standing on top of each layer of those bricks, and I'm saying to myself, I'm a little pyramid, and I'm standing at the top. I am somebody. I dare you. Who's going to respect me but me? Who's going to love me better than me but me? Who's going to take me out the mud better than me? Teaching. Something somebody can't teach you unless it's somebody who's been through what you've been through. That's why I'm an actual life coach, mentor, speaker, orator. And the narrative that I'm trying to get through to each one of you, male and female, teenager, my baby, sorry, is I want you guys to understand how hard it is to mentally pull yourself up by the bootstraps like this and literally be a warrior for yourself. To pick up your wounded warrior, your baby on your back. Even though I still got a poop off, I don't care. A lot of me like my poop off. But the thing is, I can lose my poop off, but I'll never lose the good heart. I'll get older quickly. I can get surgery. My poop is my tag, but guess what? I can get surgery. They'll be enough. I got the mom bod. I don't care. But guess what? Somebody I'm going to meet in my lifetime and say, baby, you for the shame. Don't real life. I like everything about you. And you know what? I look forward to meeting them. I just want to make sure that I don't take for baggage to marriage. And I can tell them, honey, this is about my relationship counselor. I've been through some things. It's going to take a long time for me to not be hurt from prior things. But I want you to be there with me to help build me back better and stronger than ever, so that we can build our empire together. That I can share my world with you. You can share your world with me. And you can trust me, I can trust you to a certain degree. Especially to come from a place of both people being traumatized. So I want you guys to understand there and that narrative, because that's part of self-love. Because you gotta love yourself to somebody else does. So when we think about this, what a confident person walks and observes and experiences as an abundance mindset. I am resilient. I am abundant. I am healing. I am becoming. Like what Michelle Obama said, I am becoming. I am becoming one of the better parts of my life. My life might just be beginning. I thought it was over. I thought I was going to be counted out. No. If I count myself out, that's my own fault. I'm not going to allow you or anybody else out there, what I mean by you, understood you. Teach me. It's them day. Because I have to make the choice to be resilient and be able to get to where I want to get in life and move forward, or let it be enough. I have a choice here. So I'm challenging all women, heart, all men, heart. If you've been through some things and you've been through an incel, female or male, so it's not mutually exclusive to heterosexual. I'm heterosexual. But I got LGBTQIQ, QIA family. I support the gay community, lesbian community, trans community. Harm, emotional harm is not exclusive to heterosexual. Happens to everybody. But the best thing you can ever do is love yourself in the manner of self-love and resilience. So when we think about resilience, we think about you got to unconditionally love yourself first before anybody else unconditionally loves you. So which would you rather have? Being in love or unconditional love? Answer that question. I'm TC Coaching. Don Diva Coaching, Team World Online, Talk Radio Diva, or you can text me. Text me what you did. I'll get it through the line. Because when you log on to talkradiodiva.com with Talk Radio Diva myself, the power to do more, you can text the number at 866-727-9323 for international and 404-418-5104. Or you can go online to dondivacoaching.com, IMCC.com, or teamworld.online.com. And then we'll share these with our next live. Because when we go into our next live, it'll be about self-love. It'll be about resilience, and then on top of that, a level of coping. I want to put that one together a little bit more because through the history of physical, forensic work, of psychology, so we need to get into the levels of layers of how do I self-love myself even though I'm married? How do I self-love myself even though I'm engaged? How do I self-love myself post-engagement, post-marriage? How do I self-love myself even when my marriage is falling apart or I'm getting divorced? For valid reasons. How do I love myself when I don't feel loved? How do I go back and fall in love with myself? How do I look at the woman in the mirror, or for some of y'all who are sisters male, how do I look at the man in the mirror? How do I find my way back to myself before I find my way back to anybody else? Those are good questions. So tweet me. Text me. Call in live. When we're live, 515-602-9765. And then you can also cash out love offering for the webinars and things like that. You don't have to, but you can. At $IMC Coaching, Don Diva Coaching, Team World Online, Children, Adolescents, Young Adults, and Talk Radio Diva with Talk Radio Diva, the power to do more, myself. And then on top of that, text us at 866-727-9323 or the line for the line says 404-418-5104. And then on top of that, book online at dondivacoaching.com, IMCC.com, and IMCCcoaching.com, or teamworld.online. So make sure you do that. And again, call live 515-602-9765. And so I wanted to make sure that we close out with the level and layer of loving yourself, living your truth, and with the last 5 minutes of the show, and everything else. And you're welcome to text while I'm doing this. And then I'll find text and affirmation so that we can close it out with a bang. I want you guys to understand this from my point of view and reducing your stress. And then on top of that, a thing that I posted today. It always seems impossible until it's done. It seems impossible to self-love ourselves, okay? When we're going through people who don't love us. It makes it hard for us to literally love ourselves after somebody shows us that they don't love us. But you got to remember, I love me. I love myself. I am resilient. I am coping. I am becoming confident. I am somebody. So when you think about all of that, we think about impossible is nothing. We think about a lot of the things that are what we have to do to make sure that we're fine. And you're being blocked. I'm tired of the antics and get off of here now. Mod Squad, can you terminate this person, please? This is what I was talking about. The abuse that this person is doing is my ex. I want you guys to see everything that this person is doing. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But Jason Margrassi is schizoaffective, schizophrenia, and bipolar, and a psychopath. Jonathan David House is a paranoid schizophrenic. His mother is a failure, and he was molested as a child. And he goes both ways. Do you have anything else to say? I got folks broken, gaslighting, white mark in Liverpool, UK. Yeah, I take my meds and you're receiving and bound for my medicine. I'm letting everybody see what you're doing for broken and gaslighting. I got an ex who's fat, nasty, disgusting, his breath smells like crap. He's disgusting, a miserable IT check and provoking a gaslighter. He's a sociopath and a pathological narc and a liar and an abuser. He put his hands on me. Jason put his hands on me. He strangled me. You got anything else to say? You got anything else to say? You got anything else to say, Kyle? Or you like the Armenian dick trampolines or the industry narcs that are playing nasty games? Yeah, I know you're the only one here, and I'm telling you, Kyle, Reno. Mod Squad, could you please go ahead and get this person? Because I'm on a live show. And what you're doing, I'm showing on everybody on Facebook and Twitter. Because a lot of you provoking nasty narcs to do this. It's what they've been doing for a lot of time. and whatnot. So Rosie Rothschild also has multiple accounts, and you can tell her he needs to stop in Liverpool, UK. My phone ended up over there, and I'll explain that white nasty narc either. To make it abundantly clear that she needs to leave my life now. Nobody has to care about my content except for me and the people who are watching it. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to leave my life. Kyle Reno, you need to be off of here now, or I will report you. And I'll let Jack Patrick Dorsey know, and I'll be suing him because he's allowing this on here. Periscope and Twitter, where Tina Lawson made all these fake accounts. And then the guy from Ohio, Carlos Ellie, who made all the bot accounts. Now, to make it abundantly clear how far it's going to go with Sean Corey Carter, and I will see the break off of Rock Nation, because John is related to Jay-Z. Does it look like I'm playing with you right now, Kyle? Because we're sitting up here live on the show while you're doing this. I'm making sure. Report me does nothing. I have connections. I don't care if you do, because you're just like the guy who sat there and said he was poison my water. You're just like the same person who said you would have sex with my daughter underage. You're the same narcissist has multiple accounts, billions underscore. Does it look like I'm playing? Because you talk the way you type. You're the same exact person. I want everybody to see it. You got anything else to say? I'm showing it to everybody, what you're doing. What you're doing is considered harassment, intimate partner violence, provoking and gaslighting. I want everybody to see it, and they're fun. Because the thing about me and you and a lot of industry jerk-ass and nasty narcs is just like Derek Jackson, a narcissist just make his wife look bad. Just like you're sitting up here provoking gaslighting, asking me inappropriate questions. No, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm Asperger's syndrome, high functioning. And Asperger's can look like bipolar disorder. You can look like schizophrenia, but did you know that schizophrenia was actually considered that back in the day before they did enough studies to know that Asperger's on a spectrum? It's not schizophrenia. But what you're doing is harassment, provoking, gaslighting, emotional abuse, and torment. Do you see exactly what you're doing that's distracting to my business and my business model? Do you see that what you're doing is narcissistic and nasty in behavior? Do you see what you're doing is provoking and gaslighting? Do you see what you're doing is emotional abuse, tormenting and bullying and harassment, just like I was talking about? You're a nasty sociopath and a pathological abuser, just like several industry people, and I hope a lot of them get rid of for what they are. Because our favorite, including the Canadian narc, he's outed for what he's been doing, provoking and gaslighting. Just to make it abundantly clear, or the nasty police department with Tina Lawson, and then on top of that, Melissa Lawson. Do I need to go over and list the names of barbokers, gaslighters, and narcs? Because I was dating a narc, Sean Allen Whitfield, Jason Ron Grassi, Joe Nathan, Jonathan David Allison, Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, Kenneth Copeland, same person. And he talks the way he's right. Jason Ron Grassi, Jackson on the other side. Need I go further to humiliate? No, I'm not a failure, never have been. You got anything else for me to say? I've always been a great person. I'm well-degreed. What are you doing by bullying and harassing me on my own life? This is exactly why I'll be suing the rights off of Jack Patrick Dorsey as a backdoor deal with Jay-Z. And Beyonce does. Does it make it abundantly clear how far I'm going to sue the rights off the Carters, the Carter Knowles, who said, that's my life. Does it make it abundantly clear how far I'm going to sue the rights off of you? And others in the industry who have fake accounts, and I'm aware of it. Tina Lawson made over 1,000 fake accounts. Or does it look like I'm ready to go to court? Have I made it abundantly clear that you're not going to do this? I got time today. You got connections, and you're the same one who was on there weeks ago talking about you got connections. You can have me killed. You can have me touched. You're the same one that has multiple accounts, just like billions underscore. You sat there and said you're going to apologize, and you talk like John, a harasser, a provoker, a gaslighter. I'll be winning this lawsuit because what you're doing is proving everything I said. It lost under Section 230C. Under the federal law enforcement rules on the federal levels of government and over at the FBI.gov. You got time to play today? I think I'll give you a legal standpoint for it. Matter of fact, let me help you with that. Let me tell you how I'm going to win this lawsuit. The levels of degradation, provoked gaslight bullying that you're doing right now on my life is actual terrorism, provoking gaslighting, cyber-based cyber self, harassment, bullying, harassment, stalking, and then on top of that, levels of ethical, the egregious levels of divisiveness, bullying, harassment, everything I just talked about in this live. So that means that I will win the lawsuit on those grounds. Then on top of that, let me Google it for you so I can help you out. And by the time I see the breakup of Jack Patrick Dorsey on Square and Jay-Z sitting on the board of directors, they will be getting an SEC violation and an FTC Federal Trade Commission inquiry. And by the time I get free carrying them behind that, it's not pocket watching. It'll be me pulling them out. Because John is the one who stole my business model. Anybody else did that. He's the IT specialist at the police department, and he's going to flip the sheriff's department. Does it make it abundantly clear how I'm going to win that lawsuit, hands down? So while you're playing games and things like that, I'm only responding to you. No one will listen to you. You're laughing right now because you know that I'll whip your behind the court. I'll whip Jack Patrick Dorsey behind the court and Rock Nation in court because Rock Nation is the Fed. Now keep playing. Takashi 69 confirmed that. Password 6 Mike is the same one that was playing in my house. Need I go further? She's the same one that's talking and things like that, playing games. So did Nicki Minaj, and she's related to John David Allison because it's Kenneth Petty, Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Petty Boots, Kenneth Petty, John David Allison. Now, just make it abundantly clear, just like Billions underscore who was on here. Talking about, oh, one more time, you have to apologize. No, I'm not going to apologize about you being a narcissist, sociopath, pathological, paranoid, schizophrenic, schizoaffective, nasty, out of order narc. And then on top of that, Justin Grassley is the same one that went in my record over there at the Sisters. And I ended up because they sat there and said they were over my life. And I put the receipts on Twitter from 2012. Now, I will win that lawsuit hands down. You got any other questions here? Or do you want to keep playing these games? Because by the time it's all said and done, the levels of doctors that were paid by billionaires, and then on top of that, my ex went to their own network, I will win that lawsuit. And then Jay-Z had deals with their own network. That is to make it abundantly clear. Does it make it abundantly clear who paid the doctors? Because Ann is the one who did the paperwork in 1980. How does it instead of twin babies? We're the traffic twin babies here. You got time to play these games today? Because by the time it's all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and report you. No, I'm not talking too much. I'm making sure everybody understands. I'm letting you know exactly how I feel about Canadian North. Yeah, a Canadian North that wants to play nasty games. I'm not playing with Aubrey Drake Grimes. Yeah, keep playing. I got time today. Because my phone ended up in the UK. Now keep playing. I'm fed up with y'all. And he was on my Facebook. So was Onika Kanye Mirage Faye. So was Sean Corey Carter. So was Katrina Taylor. John's cousin, Noah Taylor. And Oprah is the one who said something about Miss Twist. Now keep playing with me if you want to. I got time today. I don't talk too much and keep playing too much. And I told you I'm going to tell you exactly how far you're not going to keep this up. You're not going to bully and harass me inside. You got anything else to say? No, I'm letting everybody see it. I'm letting everybody see it. You're a narc and you're a sociopath and you're a pathological abuser, narc and a sociopath. Why are you on here to harass me? I'm asking questions. Let me interview you. Who are you? What's your name? Why are you sitting behind a fake account? Why don't you have a name on there? Why don't you have your picture on there? Why don't you have your avatar on there? Because you're a bully, provoker, gaslighter, pranking, provoking, gaslighting, nasty narc. You're a nasty bully. You're just like the Brook Police Department has Melissa Lawson, and she made fake accounts just like Tina Lawson did. I don't talk too much. I'm sick of Tina Lawson and Sean Corey Carter, who did the IT campus, so did Kit. Now keep on playing with me if you want to, and John was the one that was over there, Brand Hustle. Now play with me if you want to. Michelle is slut there having sex with Dave and Irby. Play with me if you want to. I got time today. I got some fed extras who need to be going to jail. John David Allison is a vet. Kenneth Petty is John David Allison. Now keep playing with me if you want to. Bloody Garbage Petty's husband is John David Allison. That's why you said John Allison must die. Now play with me if you want to. Because it's part of an old dart on there talking about, Milagro Milligrams? You mean Mob Radio Launch? Witness Production Launch at TSU? Now keep playing with me if you want to. You say you're the only one on here? And I'm whooping your behind right now. And I'm whooping the levels and depths of deals that were done behind closed doors and the nasty narcissistic antics and title deals that were done and they happened to my Navy Federal account and Jensen and Johnson were at Navy Federal. Now, play if you want to. You want to bully me, I'm going to bully you back with the truth. I don't talk too much. I'm sick and tired of nasty narcs and billionaire narcs who have me effed up. Is that what Nikki was talking about, Queen? Being what was in my records and I hugged Ann back in the day? The same white Ann with the bird beat nose with the auburn hair? You mean that I'm related to? Now play if you want to, Kyle. I got time today before I show my royal tails on you. Because I'm sick and tired of y'all doing this. Because y'all do it all the time. Y'all do it all the time. You ain't whooping nothing? Yeah, I am. I'll be whooping their behinds in court. Federal court, criminal court, civil court, and then county court. And family law court. And my FedEx is married to Nicki Minaj will be paying for all of it. And he's going to be paying for the court costs and fees. And then on top of that, he's going to pay for all the degradation, harassment, bullying, and provoking and gaslighting he did. And Jason Ryan Grassley and Justin Grassley and Victoria Grassley will be going to jail for all their antics and buffoonery and getting in my house doing all the violations and things like that he did. And any other antics that Sean Allen Whitfield did for IT, he will be going his musty life behind the jail too. That's to make it abundantly clear how far it's going to go. I see you stop. Because it's recorded on 515-602-9765. And I got it for court anyway. So I can pull the audio. So good luck. And I got it right here showing it to everybody. So it's proven in court that you're harassing me. You came on my life to harass me and provoke me. And Tina Lawson to be held responsible for her antics, and Melissa Lawson at the San County Sheriff's Department and Police Department, City Police Department against Cola, and ATD Task Force Tip, Killer Mike Daddy that's on ATD. Now keep playing with me. And it's not so funny when I turn it around, get up. It's not so funny to bully somebody, right? It's not so funny to sit there and question somebody's mental health while you're doing mentally unhealthy things, is it? Because come on, like that. What are you going to do? Have the audio recorded or responding to this so everybody can see exactly what you've been doing for the last 2 years under multiple accounts. And Billions underscore that he has multiple accounts, and that's John David Ellison, you guys see Ellison, Kenneth G. Petty, Kenneth Copeland, John Avery, his aliases that Nosy Hose has. The same John Avery, John David Ellison, Kenneth Petty, Kenneth Copeland, federal agent Kenneth Copeland, John David Ellison under witness protection. Now play this if you want to. The same one that asked me about BMS, and I had to Google it. I don't talk too much. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of several industry narcs who need to be taken down too. The same Kardashian West who knew John, who was their security. And they said John was the lead. The case was 91, 93, 94, 96, 2007, 2008 are the lead, just like their vagina. Now play with me if you want to. You want to keep bullying? I see you stop. I see you stop. Now question my mental health again if you want to. So how did it in the 80s and the mid-80s? I am young. So play with me if you want to. I'm not in the mood for any more of a phone. So you have Eminem that got on here and begged, talking about this beg, I don't care. Keanu said, that's my life. I don't care. Now let's go to court. I see you ran off. So you get Tasha Transraini TV, who is on Nikki's payroll, Floody Garbage Petty, payroll, who wanted to play all these narcissistic games, provoking gaslight me, and then bullying and harassing in their wealthy, well-connected narc friends industry. And you said it was jokes. Here's the joke. Your whole joke for being with a man who didn't want you. Your whole joke for being a narcissistic, nasty woman. And then on top of that, Mona Scott Young. By the time I see the breakup of you at Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and Love and Hip Hop Miami, and Katrina Taylor is the cousin of John David Ellison, Kenneth Petty, Kenny Copeland, John Avery. By the time I see the breakup of Monica Coomer Ellison, all about the tea, and you guys the Ellison on the BMF cases, and it changed from Ellison to Ellison. Keith Ellison is the lawyer on that case. By the time I smash this case, win the lawsuit for the social media damages, abuses, and egregious levels of loss of business and the stealing of business models, and you'll be broke, butt naked outside, and your industry whore will be paying for it. Now play with me if you want to. I just show you how the game's played. And I'm telling you right now, I'm talking in a hoarse voice, so I'm nowhere near mad. Y'all try to get me mad, and I'm telling you right now, you're not going to trigger me. You're not going to upset me, and you're not going to provoke gaslight me, and Canadian not going to kiss my ass when I ain't it. And I'm telling you as a business person, life coach, wellness coach, health coach, divorce coach, that I'm well qualified to spank your ass in court. And including my narc ex, Sean Allen Whitley, who played in my face and said, it's Breonna, what's her name? Breonna Taylor, who looks like Jay-Z's long-lost daughter, 26-year-old daughter that died. Play with me if you want to. Now, does it make it abundantly clear that I'm not in the mood for any more crap? And Matthew Mills is not going to drive by my house with that Lincoln car? I don't talk too much. I've been bullied too much. Wow, that's he's walking at the billionaire not, and he's related to Tiana Avery Allison. That's her uncle-in-law. Now, play if you want to. Anybody else got any questions? Because I want everybody to understand the psychological breakthroughs of dealing with narcissists, and Tasha Transraini TV will be soon. I can guarantee I won't smoke for you. They'll sell us Elementar, Cardi B, who's sitting there playing from Broken Gaslight, and Brittany Zachary Davis, who gave me that fraud credit cards on Square Cash App and Square. So I guarantee you I will win that lawsuit because I'm documenting it right now. Because it's my testimony while I'm also doing my job as a life coach, wellness coach, divorce coach. And by the time I get through spanking you in court over your provoking and gaslighting, your bullying and harassment, then you're going to understand that I will whoop your behind in court. So by the time it's all said and done, I'm going to tell you, if you tell me I need to walk into traffic, you go first, dear heart. You go first and take my exits with you. So by the time it's all said and done, you take the wealthy, well-connected boys and rock show and play in my face and was talking about shit at night and talking about Tupac just like John was playing in my face about Tupac. And wanted to play about certain things they had no business doing in my federal records that are sealed. Then you understand that I'm not loyal to anybody. I'm loyal to myself, and I'm digging myself out of problems and issues that were created by wealthy, well-connected billionaire narcs, white, black, and mixed white and black, and then a Trinidadian whore, Dick Trampoline, who went in federal records playing games. You got anything else to say? You go in traffic first, dear. I oblige you to go first and take my exits with you. And any acquaintance that was narcissistic enough to play in my face and play in my records. And I suggest you keep my name out of his mouth. Does it make it abundantly clear? Because he looks like the same guy that was in my house years ago. Marley. Play with me if you want to. Arcade. I'm not in the mood for any more crap. You want to keep on harassing me, provoking me, saying that, oh, police on your payroll? Yeah, the police department, city police department, the U.S. you guys, Zeke Allison worked at, and his son used at his disposal to provoke gaslight me, my own house. And I'm documenting all this before. I'm going to slam dunk this case, and everybody who sat there and told lies is going to have to sit there and deal with it in the court of law, because it's recorded for quality assurance and monitoring. Now play with it. Come on with it. What are you going to do? I just spanked all their asses right now. On my life. While you were harassing and provoking me, and I still remain calm. And I'm talking over a hoarse voice, so how dare you come on my live and do this? Because the audience will still go up there, and everybody's going to hear exactly what you did and me responding to what you did, and they're going to see the actual live audio on YouTube, Facebook, and then on top of that on Periscope. But good luck. And they're going to trace your IP and put you in jail for harassment, bullying, and terrorism. You're welcome. And if it's a dirty cop doing it, then take his butt to jail. Take her butt to jail. Does Tasha transmitting she says she works for the Fed? Come on, let's have it. My FedExes are going to jail. I don't talk to you guys. I think of that old network fat bitch. What does she look like? Hotter than a 7-twin baby in the mid-80s. Does it make it abundantly clear? I see you stop tormenting and provoking until I just shut you down, just like I did my FedExes. And a massive, wealthy, well-connected black narc ex-IT specialist. And does it make it abundantly clear that I'm not going to go through this anymore? And you get Ivy to rock a message over there at Council C22 and Ranger C50. That's for news for my daughter. Over there on WhatsApp and teach how far I'm going to take it to social media. And how far I'm documenting all their unethical, egregious levels of transgressions. The thing Ivy Rocky played down here, and the blonde-haired woman with soft hair and whatnot, because she's got gray streaks in her hair, but she's got blonde hair, and she had the nerve to come down here with a no-out shirt from the case from 96. Now play with me if you want to. I'm going to show you exactly how far it's going to go. I don't talk too much. I'm sick of y'all, including my own family. So everybody know exactly why I'm acting like this? It pisses me off to sit there and deal with somebody who's narcissistic enough to keep this up. When I was trying to end my live less than 5 minutes ago, it pisses me off that they mess up my life and do this every time. And the Canadian narc needs to go into jail. Take us musty bust to jail because I'm sick of them. I'm sick of the white narc in Liverpool because I'm ready to give him, and I'm with that sugar honey iced tea and put his behind on ice permanently, indefinitely, for playing in my face multiple times. And does anybody have any questions? I talked a lot and I said a lot. And at the end of the day, you want to keep this up, and the kids that are involved in this, including Gianna, Avery Allison, you make bank accounts, you get a little nasty, deception, a little turd, a warrant, and then you get Jason Ryan's these kids, a level lower of do not contact orders and lifetime restraining orders, and then you get one for the kids that are involved in trace of IP, and if it's any children left to including mine, put them in jail. Yeah, I said it. Because I'm tired of family violence over life and all this. Then on top of that, when it's messing with my life and you're messing with the things that I have to do, and you want to keep playing some nasty narcissistic games, you get Ivy to rock a message at Channel C22, a message. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with Roy Rothschild. I'm not playing with Oprah Winfrey. I'm not playing with you guys get out and went over to their own network and Jason Ryan Grassley with their own network. And I'm not playing with John David Alton, Kenneth Bates, Copeland, John Avery, Kenneth Dupet, who's now Nikki's husband, and the same woman who sent Sasha Benson from WOE. I don't talk too much. I haven't talked enough. Now play with me if you want to. I'm not scared of Sean Corey Carter or his bloody vegan wife. I'm not in the mood. And Beyonce can kick my ass. And her father who drove by my house. Now play with me if you want to. Don't bring your behind back on my live again. And I mean it. And just so you know, the live is recorded live. So keep playing with me if you want to. And see how well it's going to work out for you. Just so you know. Anybody else got anything else you want to keep saying, please? Or does it look like I'm ready to go to war with everybody who tried me, including industry people? I don't hate the industry or hate those that benefited from it, including their own network woman. I don't like her, and I'll never respect her. Now, have I made it abundantly clear? You came on here to do something to mess up my life, and I did what I needed to do, what I'm born and bred to do, is put an old billionaire, nasty narc, who was in the 80s, who benefited from it, and President Trump was in Pensacola and Atlanta and Orlando around my family. So Thompson said 20 days to the mid-80s. Now play with me if you want to again. I told you I'm not going to do this anymore. And there's lots of connected billionaires, like the dudes out there and stuff. Oh, billionaires are involved? They're good. I'm putting them in their place. Officer Clinton, Barbosa, Lunsford, Mraz, Yates, McCreary, Williams, Lawson, Harris, Burris, and everybody else. Now that I made it abundantly clear how far this went, joke's on you. I was prepared for somebody to come on here with the BS because I told the truth. Now keep on coming after me and making my life as safe as you want to. Jack will be getting the level 1 acres in Boston because I'm tired of I warned him one more time. With any more unsafe lies, I'll see the breaks on Periscope Twitter, and I'll see the breaks on Twitter. That's why he's trying to get rid of my account, because he knew exactly what he was doing. And President Trump was allowed to do what he wants to do, came to Pensacola. And I'm humiliating Pensacola again because they don't want to stop. And the sheriff's department who's helping you guys beat Allison, sit up there and cover up what you did. And Monty Tumor Allison, all about the tea, who sat there and played in my face about parenting classes. Did she get parenting classes? Did she allow her son, you guys, Allison's son, let his boy Bushy get blown out at the trial? Then I suggest you pick me, you should pick me Patrick to come on here, not play with me anymore. Unless you want it to all come out, because you guys did Allison. Why did you let your son get his boy Bushy blown out? Or unless you were the one who was doing it and molesting your own son. And Monica didn't do anything to protect you. I'm waiting for Pitney Isha to try me again. All about the tea. Got anything else to say? Tasha Transcendent TV. Got anything to say about disability? Wally, got anything else to say? Following me for a year and a half? Tasha Diamond, got anything to say about Marion? That was a cover-up. Nikki, you got something to say about BET anymore? Do you want to keep playing games on here? So let's get back into everything. Like I said, that's what self-love makes you do. Defend yourself against a wealthy buck connected set of knocks, including a nasty fat ex, including another one who might not be a fed, but a nasty IT tech. Man, it's all get out because I don't want him anymore. Because he proved to be a disloyal, true love scam asshole. And I'm sick of his shit. Anybody else got a question? Because this is what it looks like when you stand up for yourself. This looks like a woman who's been through grieving, and I'm not going to let a punk-ass white man or a punk-ass nasty white woman or a punk-ass Trinidadian slut or a slutty vegan with nasty doggone shit breath play with me or a stupid camel-looking husband play with me or a wealthy billionaire narc who's a deadbeat who helped facilitate trafficking of twin babies. I didn't say twin babies in the mid-80s. You heard the live earlier with Eminem, but in the mid-80s, how did it say twin babies? Play with it. Come on with it. I just did. Now you know I've seen it in psychiatry because I've come across the truth. Now play with me if you want to, a bully and harass me with what you want to again. Let's see what happens. Because see, this is what savage mode is. I have the mind of a soldier. I'm an empath, I'm a super empath, and I dare you to come back on here again with that. Anybody else want to keep playing with me? We're live everywhere, everybody. This would have had to deal with for 2 years, and there's multiple people who would do this. So Tina Lawson needs to be sued for doing that. They pulled me into Periscope and the chat room and let me know that she did it. So Melissa Lawson and Tina Lawson over there at Pensacola Police Department, that was down here in Caitlin, fire them and terminate them. Holly Ramsey, terminate her. Come on, let me out. What's he going to do? What I just did. Slam down the case. And put my FedExes in the jail where they belong, including acquaintances that were overseas in Liverpool and had my phone. Now, play with me if you want to, because I'm sick of all of you. I don't care if it's Carter Knowles to a Rothschild. Who the hell do you think you are? Running my whole window, asshole. I have to be hidden because I wasn't the right color for protection. Now, play with me, damn it, if you want to. Or I show my running black ass on y'all. Anybody else got any questions? So somebody asked me, is Andrew your dad? I'll leave that up for father. Now play with me, goddamn it, if you want to. I'm tired of y'all. So Nikki, you put ADP queen? Yeah, crown these hedges. And I don't normally say that kind of stuff. And since you want to act like a troll and provoke and gaslight and talk about shit, my sister's nickname is Shug, asshole. Marion Shug Knight, Willie Knight is actually arranged for the paperwork, asshole, to cover up the actual original adoption, stupid ass. And for when he did the paperwork for Florida Department of Children and Families. I hugged her at Piccadilly. That it was Morrison. Just like the Morrisons that's over there in the UK. Piccadilly Records. Now, play with me if you want to. My FedEx, Jason, wants to work for Piccadilly Records. Now, does it make it abundantly clear how far it's not going to go anymore? It looks like I want my shoes. Come on with me! So, you ask, how can someone talk so much but say so little? I said a lot. I said more than a mouthful. So I suggest you take yourself off my life and don't come back. So, Mod Squad, can you get Calorino off of here? And then block him for harassment, tormenting, bullying, and then degradation of my life. And then I will sue, swear cash up, and swear the owner because he knew about what was going on and was reported this issue for a number of years, and he's known for a number of years to the point that he allowed it to happen. He also tried to get my account terminated because he had to deal with the Cardinal. That's how I won my lawsuit. That deal was where? If he's on the board of directions, now you know why. As Peter Walker made all the big accounts on here, I just slammed against my case and won it. Now play with me if you want to. What's it worth it? To keep trolling me? I told you I'm tired of this. And I'm ready to go to court. And see the breaks on Tasha's friends on the TV, Wiley and the rest of the assholes on YouTube. You get nuts. And then on top of that, does Coffee Diamond want to talk about marrying and play those games? Trying to win deal for Nikki, who's the one who paid Toxic Diamond and paid, Tasha Transarena TV. Then you have the key to TV Studios and pays me in court. And the Cardinals face me in court because I'm sick of this shit. And if my phone ends up being UK, then everybody needs to respond. There's nothing funny about it. Because the Fed found my phone in the third floor. So one of my exes, the Fed ex Jason Johnson, said it. Evelyn Hozada, the slut that was over there at the basketball wives playing games about Bloody Mary. Mary Frances Scott is my aunt, the one that died, Byron Scott's first wife. Play with me if you want to. I just proved my case. And Sierra Marie was talking about Whitney and receipts, and she got kicked out for that petty mess. Now you know who they were playing with. So the woman that came down here calling you Miss Petty, you better understand that I'm about to mop the floor with petty pussy. On her own dime. You got anything else to say, Kyle? Only gets my Mirage Petty on my Facebook that I deleted. Facebook still has the hard copy. I guarantee you that I'll see this. And I'm sick and tired of the antics. And I'm sick of being bullied by people like you. And children who need to be going to jail. Dee Warner needs a warrant. Maurice Warner's daughter needs a warrant. Jennifer Warner needs a warrant. So I made it clear how far my FedEx needs to be going to do. And how far I will take it if he doesn't quit. Both of them, Jason and Johnson, need to be going to jail for the network stuff allowed. Carlos King needs to be going to jail. So is Carlos Ellie. And Nancy North that look like Sean Allen Whitfield's twin. And Sean Allen Whitfield's name is not Sean Allen Whitfield. Does it make it abundantly clear how far it went? A lawsuit down them? Does it make it abundantly clear how it's going to go? Because this is me in business mode. And I'll be done if I get pissed off, aggravated, provoked, and gaslit by a bunch of nasty narcs, wealthy, well-connected narcs who use YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, cheat to harass, torment, degrade my business model. This is me bossing up on someone and quoting a nasty narcissistic ex. And if I find out we're married and I find out that paperwork they were signed divorce was for a marriage, then I'm getting a divorce and I'm cleaning your clock out financially and leaving you butt naked outside with no clothes on. If you got kids, like one of my exes does and the other one does, by the time I get through with you, you'll be homeless. Make it about with this? Your kids will be outside homeless and in since been piecing out. And your new wife will be a single baby mama. Because I want people to see this because guess what? Derek Jackson's wife is going through the same thing, except for I'm on the post stage of it. And my journey is to whip the ex's ass, of course. And my journey is to boss up and stand up against my own wealthy, well-connected North family and put them in their direct place. And that's going to lead me to how a lot of stuff like damn things. And put them in jail over all of it. Because, see, somebody said, these jokes are going too far. Yeah, they are. You had to be hidden? Yeah, I did. Because I could have been killed as a baby. So the death threats to cover up the gaslight and the level of egregious manner to cover up what they did, the royal family did, to cover up the husband and seven twin babies in the mid-'80s. I'm not going to protect anybody but myself and my daughter. And my sister. Took my biological sister. Yeah, we're twins. I found out. The paperwork doctor. So does anybody else have any questions? The only people who are mad are the people who are industry who knew about it. Ain't no joke, just like y'all. I'm not a doormat. I'm opening doors. Anybody else got anything else to say? I haven't trusted anything else in your place? Emergency 6, you want to ask for any more news for my daughter? Tesla 6, your son want to ask for any more news when you went out to California? You want to send any more threats to my daughter? Tiny, you want to talk about what's in my bedroom? I have sex toys. I have a sex toy stop. But your whole industry did translate sex toys. Floyd Mayweather, to be exact. Melissa was talking about my bed in my house. Yaya was on my Twitter live. Millie Milligrams, the same one, Mob Radio, Solange Knowles, was on there. Oh, yeah! And it's making a bunch of listeners. I'm not scared to call her no. I hate them. Because Gianna played in my face. I talked to Matthew Knowles. Now, don't keep playing these damn dumbass things on my life again. To make it abundantly clear? Swear cash up. You better get your IT together. That's not being DevOps Santis to buffoonery, because I'm fed up. Jack, you got anything else you want to enable? Let's go for it. Y'all want to pay anything else again? Like y'all did 14 years ago? The whole network woman set there in place. T.S. Madison added me on Twitter. Had I Love New York, $50 on myself. Regina, her manager, the T.S. Madison, Mandy Manhorn, Timothy Penn. Y'all want to keep playing on the internet, Twitter, Facebook? Y'all want to keep playing on YouTube? I'm just asking for a friend. Because I'm talking over a hoarse voice. You see my voice echo. So I think I only understand how that echo got capped. Then also on my beat, that got capped. Now play with me if you want to invasion of privacy. Who wants to smoke now? Anybody else got anything else to say? You told me to walk into traffic. The only traffic I'm going to walk into is the traffic of money. A level of money that's owed to me, and DC enough to participate and took money against Ganson when he did the paperwork, and he had to cover it up and had DC enough change from HRS, Department of Children and Families. You can guarantee I'm ready to go to court over every last day of the data set, and I've run me my money. I got seen as a psychiatrist because of wealthy, well-connected knowledge, including a nasty politician, Trump. Tell us if you want to. So when the White House gets shot and Secret Service calls my account, then you understand that there's a level of higher than twin babies in the mid-'80s. And say Trump was in a picture with Oprah. Now play with it. Come on with it. I just did. Now, just to make it abundantly clear, my lessons are actually built at a high level of government. Don't play any more stupid games on my life or you're going to get stupid prizes every time. Anybody else have any questions? It was funny as long as you thought you were getting the best name. So, John, didn't you say Steve the number 23? Didn't Jay-Z have the jersey for North Carolina? Target jersey, light powder blue? With Maya, who used to go with Jay Prince a long time ago? Please take the starting number 23. Come on with that. I just did. You played in my face about Tupac. He's at the Clinton Correctional Institute. Come on with that. I don't talk too much. I'm sick of y'all shit. I knew these records for a long time ago. I knew them for 30 years and I played with it. And I said nothing. So it looks like y'all crossed the line. You can't come back from me. Just mad because I revealed what y'all have done and how you do psychiatry for both gaslit and Asperger's syndrome high functioning. So I'm nowhere near paranoid schizophrenic than that. In fact, I'm actually Asperger's syndrome. I was told that in 2016. And I dare you motherfuckers to try me again. Because I'm scared you motherfuckers. Because I dare you all to mess up my life anymore and keep it shit up. And I dare Jeff Patrick Dorsey to play these games further and allowing the transgression of my life. Because I'm sick of your shit, asshole. I dare Mark Zuckerberg to allow this when I wrote you in 2015 and wrote Jeff Patrick Dorsey 2015, 2016, 2018. Sam Jackson, I dare you to do any more IT gadgets. Well, I dare you to have your slut wife, Jada, in my meeting with Jerry Peterson. You tell that bald-headed scoutbag ain't got no hair in the back. Human dick trampoline entanglement asshole who's friends with the Kardashian West crew, the media Kardashians from 91-93, who blamed it on Jonathan. Case from 91-93 has the same case that my baby daddy had. He was arrested. Jason was the arresting officer. Jason's ex-CIA asshole. Now play with me if you damn it want to. And Jason's a Jackson. Jonathan's a Taylor. Katrina Sour Pussy Harper Taylor. It's just kind of know what Taylor sees shit meat or dog. I'm not in the mood. Y'all do this every time to get an escalation. And this is why I'm documenting it for federal court, civil court, family